Welcome back to On Track Action. It's time for the Fast 5 shootouts that are getting set to go green. First up on the docket, your Mini Swift drivers. A couple of them already making it in. Maxwell Macha is in. Kaysen Hodge is into the shootout. Vega's in. Cade Wolf, Katowski, Samet, Bergman, Woon, Fulton Myers, and Parker Ives, the 10 drivers that are going to fight for $1,000 here in a couple of moments' time. So this is all to play for here, Alex. And again, the thing that I love the most about the IAME Grand National Championships is that it all changes every time you hit the racetrack, and it's a new layout already. We had a different one for heat number 2 and heat number 3, all day I should say, starting from the morning, but it's all changed now, and this is going to be the official shootout layout for your Mini Swift, your X30 Juniors, and your X30 Pro drivers later on today. So Alex, why don't you do the honors and take us through a lap, the shootout layout here at Trackhouse Motorplex.
Yeah, so this is the same shootout layout that we saw for the X30 Pro Shootout back in 2021 that Paulie Massimino won here. So now turn 1 here, as we go through what would be the turn 8 hairpin. We're going through it backwards now. Royce Vega, let's follow Vega through this entire lap here, through the final chicane. Turn 1 on the normal layout is still turn 1 here on this alternate layout. We climb the hill up 1, 2, and then back down the straightaway through turns 3 and through the bowl corner. This all remains the same for what we are accustomed to seeing here at Trackhouse Motorplex. But after the bowl corner here, we're going to do a similar cut through to what we saw earlier on today in heats 2 and 3, but it's a little bit further down the line from turns 5 and 6 on the normal layout. We're going to do this quick cut through and actually do the turn 8 hairpin backwards. So around what would be the double right, it's now a double left into the turn 8 complex, and then immediately you have to get over to the right-hand side of the racetrack because you have a fast left-right chicane, and that closes out your lap here for the shootout layout for these Mini Swift drivers all the way through the X30 Junior and then the X30 Pro Senior shootout tonight. So 2.5 minutes to go. This is a practice/qualifying session. These drivers have to learn it and figure out how to go faster on this place in order to qualify well for this main event shootout later on tonight for these Mini Swift drivers.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Royce Vega pulling off to the wayside, and this is good. You drove the track one way, and if you get behind another driver, see how they're going to drive it differently. So the likes of Samet, Macha still out there, Nico Katowski. So this is really good at the moment for Royce Vega to get behind and to figure out what line is going down at the moment. But a driver who's standing out from the rest of the field is that driver right there on your screen, ZL Kart, the BJR MGR of Marco Samet. He's the quickest driver on the racetrack so far and doing a good job, to say the least. So Samet lapping around pretty quickly and doing a good job nonetheless. He sits third in line behind Macha and Nico Katowski. So he's learning a whole lot from the drivers ahead of him, Alex, and that's one of the biggest things that we see here. And this is good as well for Samet. You know, it all changes in the shootout. You can be one way throughout the heat races, but none of it matters on the shootout. It's about bringing your equipment home and fighting for some money as well.
Yeah, you made a good point there of drivers trying to get behind each other and learn, because to me, on a new layout, it's almost like when you drive in the rain for the first time around a racetrack. You don't want to be the first driver to kind of lead the field and show them around, because the drivers behind you are going to realize, you know, what's slower, what's faster, and they're going to learn from you. So far, it looks as though Katowski's figured it out pretty good. Ashton Loon has figured it out the best of everybody right now. He's quickest, 8,000ths faster than what Holden Myers has been able to do so far, both the Timmy Tech Comp Car. So Super 2 Parallel right now on the top of the board. A minute to go here in this qualifying session. We saw Royce Vega lead them out to the green flag here for this qualifying session, but early on, he backed off and, you know, wanted to fall back and kind of learn from the other drivers. As Samet drops the tire, it's going to hold up Holden Myers and Ashton Loon here. 50 seconds left in this qualifying session for Nico Katowski. He puts the top of the board, and like I mentioned about Royce Vega, he was 10th and last, but he crossed the stripe now. P2 in qualifying, still a lap to go.
Yeah, still one more lap in this mini shootout qualifying. And again, this is another one of the characteristics here. With only 35 seconds left, you need to be on it as soon as you get onto the racetrack. Do the hot pit, do whatever little bits and pieces that you need to fix and adjustments that you need to make before you get into the main event in a couple of moments' time. So it's going to be critical for them to be on it right from the start, Alex. And for some of these, the likes of the BJR team, for Nico Katowski, for the J&M team, they're doing a good job. 15 seconds left. The last go-around here in the qualifying session in the shootout. Samet's still the quickest, the 37.147. Cade Wolf sits second. Josh Bergman sits in the third spot.
Yeah, what a lap there for Marco Samet with assistance from Cade Wolf right behind him. Those two working very well together. I think this layout is going to play a little bit more into the hands of the drivers that want to work together. A few more passing opportunities, a few more long straightaways here on this layout. But this is the checkered flag lap. This is the final time around for a lot of these Mini Swift drivers to see what they can do and put their best lap possible. Rounding the final couple of corners now through the fast right-left chicane. Final time around, any improvements? Woon improves to third. Ives goes to third now. Nobody else improves. Marco Samet is going to be on pole position for the Mini Swift Shootout tonight. Behind him, Cade Wolf, Parker Ives. Less than a tenth of a second separates the top three. Less than a tenth actually separates the top five with Woon and Bergman. And then it's Vega, Myers, Gutowski, Hodge, and Maxwell Macha.
Very, very close at the end of this qualifying session. Gutowski 8th, Case and Hodge in 9th. Then you go back to Maxwell Macha in the 10th spot, and everybody within the same half a second. And this is why we call these drivers the all-star Mini Swifts here this weekend that qualified into the shootout. Obviously, some of them getting in as well on a promoter's pick, and that's pretty much how some of them got in. A couple of others got in on merit as well, Alex. So it's pretty cool to see how all these drivers kind of shaped out as well, and how they turned out here in this one. So Macha running up your top 10, and that's going to be it for those Mini Swift drivers. And next time we see them back on the racetrack, it should be in a racing action, if I'm not mistaken, here with the way the format's going to work out for these young drivers. But we look back onto the grid here now in a couple of moments' time. Your X30 Junior is getting set to go out onto the racetrack. And for those of you watching at home, we appreciate you guys coming on, and we're excited to have you guys here for this shootout that's definitely been one to watch, and one that you are definitely not going to want to miss, to say the least. Peyton Westcott, the young lady from California, she's going to be here for the Rawlson Performance Group contingent, the 789, getting set to go out onto the racetrack now. And she's set to start and go out against the likes of Chase Gassiet-Lee, I believe, was able to get in on merit. I think Ty Fisher worked his way in as well. Fion Shi, Alexander Vanchev, Davin Roberts for the Ryan Perry Motorsports team. Chase Gassiet-Lee there in the back, and a couple of others as well. And you see all the carts starting to flow in. That's Bowen Green's machine there. Cade Wolf, sorry, that's Cade Wolf's machine, and everybody else as well getting set to go out onto the racetrack. And again, there's only 2 teammates in this field. It's Fion Shi and Peyton Westcott. The rest, I believe, are lone drivers in this field. And I should say, Amador Martinez as well out on the racetrack. So your official field here, Amador Martinez, Westcott, Lucas Palacio in on a promoter's pick. Fion Shi, Alexander Vanchev, Ty Fisher, Davin Roberts, Enzo Vidmontien, and Chase Gassiet-Lee. So $1,000 up on the line for these X30 Junior drivers, Alex, and they've definitely showed us the way that they can race and the way that they have raced so far this weekend. So we'll see who's on it right off the bat here.
Well, if that Mini Swift qualifying is anything to go off of, as Amador Martinez kind of get heat the tires early here, going backwards, in terms of the layout that we're accustomed to seeing through this complex of the racetrack. So Mini Swift with less than a tenth of the top 5, the separation between them. So here for X30 Junior, more of the same here. A pretty short qualifying session, 5 minutes. They're already down to 4 because this green flag lap is the first flying lap they're going to get around this brand new layout here to a lot of these drivers. We saw it back in 2021, but haven't seen it since. So Martinez leads this group, and like I mentioned earlier with the Mini Swift qualifying as well, you don't really want to be the first driver, around this new layout, because as you learn things, the drivers behind you are going to learn 2 times as quick as you are, because they're going to see what the mistakes that you make are. So through the first lap here, let's see who's figured it out quicker than anybody else. Across the stripe, a lot of shuffling here. Ty Fisher is the one that figured it out the best. Davin Roberts does an identical lap time to Ty Fisher, but Fisher did it before him. So Fisher to the top, Roberts, Gassiet-Lee, Vanchev, Westcott, a 10th separates your top 5. But as they continue to learn this racetrack, those times will continue to fall.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Alex, I mean, I've found myself in a situation going out onto a racetrack for the first couple laps, not even looking at a track map, and one driver goes around. Vanchev does a half spin there. He's able to get back in line. He doesn't want to lose the pack. That will definitely not be ideal at this stage. Fisher going on the inside of Westcott. He's able to get clear, but again, like I was saying, I found myself on a new racetrack with new tires and whatever it may be, and the first couple laps you find yourself out of control because you have no idea what's going to come your way next. And one of the things that I found that helps myself out at a new racetrack, or could help any driver as well, following someone and learning from them, seeing where they're braking and comparing yourself and almost doing like a lead and follow session, like we like to say. And that's been one of the key things for here as well. And for a driver like Lucas Palacio, who's been very busy around the Trackhouse Motorplex area, driving a junior kart to keep fit for whenever he goes back overseas to Europe. He's definitely one of the favorites for this layout. He finds himself in the 6th spot, and it all is going to change here. Enzo Vidmontien for the Trinity Karting Group Kart Republic team. He goes to the top. Fion Shi to 2nd. Ty Fisher rounds up your top 3.
And what a lap there for Enzo Vidmontien, puts 3/10 on the field. Here goes Fisher inside and through on Lucas Palacio. So he's feeling pretty good on board that Race Lab TV go-kart. He's been fast all weekend long. Westcott's going to follow him through as well. So he's going to go through on Lucas Palacio now. So Westcott goes through. She's up in the 5th right now in this qualifying session. Her teammate, though, Fion Shi, he's been quick in the heat races so far in X30 Junior. He goes P2. Westcott throws it off the racetrack almost through the final couple of corners here. Do we see any improvements? We do. Most of the field improves. Vanchev to the top. We saw the half spin that he got. It might have actually been a benefit to him because now he's getting a crazy toe off of this big group of go-karts behind Gassiet Lee. So Vidmontien P2, he wants a piece of Lucas Palacio as well. So he's going to go through. Vidmontien goes second right now in this qualifying session. 1.5 minutes to go. Maybe 2-3 laps at most these drivers are going to get here. So let's run you through your top 3 once again. Vanchev, Vidmontien, Roberts, Gassiet Lee, Fisher. They're going to cross the stripe now, and we're probably going to see a bunch more shuffling competition as the tires continue to warm up and as the drivers get warmed up to this racetrack. Vidmontien improves on his lap time slightly, but that's the only improvement that we saw that lap.
Yeah, definitely one of the last bit of improvements, and for a driver that found himself almost spinning in this one, Alexander Vanchev goes to the top. He's about a 1/2 tenth quicker than Enzo Vidmontien and Davin Roberts in the 3rd spot. They're all fighting. Lucas Palacio goes to the wayside, and it almost seems like we're announcing a race here, Alex, but this is a practice/qualifying session, and they need to get everything that they can. 40 seconds left. They're going to have about 2 more laps if they cross the line in time, so I think the majority of them will. I think for the likes of Amador Martinez, Fion Shi, Martinez will definitely get another lap here. He's way up on the field as well for Ty Fisher, so these 2 drivers are for sure going to get one more go around. Ty Fisher went to the top the last time around in his Race Lab TV kart at 34.557, the lap time to beat now, but we're running out of time here. Only 10 seconds left now.
Yeah, last time around we saw Fisher go top of the board. Vanchev improved as well. Let's see, 5 seconds left. I think they're just going to make it in time for one more lap around. They are going to get another flying lap. So now the zeros hit the air, and Vanchev goes up the racetrack to begin his final flying lap. So that's not going to do him any good whatsoever. Fisher still leads over Vanchev, Roberts, Vidmontien, Westcott right now, but Westcott to me looks to be in prime position to maybe improve on her lap time. Fisher makes a mistake, and he wanted to back off and let Westcott go, but I think it caught her off guard there, and she ran into the back of the TV go-kart. So Ty Fisher's pulling into the pits early. Maybe a bit of an issue on the go-kart, or just felt like he wanted to pull off, but a bit of miscommunication there between himself and Peyton Westcott. As more drivers cross the stripe, Vidmontien improves on his lap time to go 3rd. Nobody, though, can actually beat Ty Fisher's best lap time. So if that one stands, Ty Fisher, your pole sitter for tonight's X30 Junior Shootout.
That was a crazy end to that X30 Shootout qualifying for all those drivers. Contact in between Ty Fisher and Peyton Westcott ultimately ruined Westcott's lap, and to me it looked like Fisher was done with that lap, wanted to come in, went to one of the escape routes, and just Peyton Westcott was not ready for Fisher to slam on the brakes there in the end. So we'll see how it ends up here, but Fisher officially your fastest X30 Junior qualifier in the shootout practice/qualifying. Vanchev 2nd, Vidmontien 3rd, Davin Roberts 4th, Westcott 5th, Gassiet Lee, Fion Shi, Amador Martinez, and Lucas Palacio here. Those 9 drivers already setting out their grid, and we look back on to the grid here, and we are getting set to go green with your Mini Swift drivers, Alex. This is going to be a good one, as we have Cade Wolf and Marco Samet lining up on the front row.
Yeah, we saw a pretty exciting Mini Swift qualifying session. You mentioned Cade Wolf, you mentioned Marco Samet, Ashton Moon behind them, Parker Rise as well in that 4th position. We saw Vega as well. Your top 5 were separated by less than 1/10 of a second, and this is still a track these young stars are having to learn as they go. They only got 5 minutes to figure it out. They probably have most of it down because half the racetrack is a track they already know, but the rest of it's backwards to what they've kind of seen on the normal turn 8. It actually becomes the backwards turn 8 hairpin, and then a chicane that you haven't seen all weekend long. So these drivers will continue to learn as we get on with this 10-lap shootout event for these Mini Swift drivers. And again, $1,000 on the line, Caleb. That's certainly gonna play into their minds to head onto the racetrack.
Yeah, it's definitely going to continue to ramp up here. Ashton Moon is out there on the racetrack. Royce Vega in the 106, getting set to go out. His team manager, Juan Villarreaga, giving him the last little bits of advice. And I want to send a special congratulations to team owner Nick. who just became a father as well. They just had a baby, so congratulations to Nick, who's definitely watching on as his driver gets set to go out onto the racetrack. Royce Vega getting set to go out alongside Holden Myers. Everybody else lining up as well. That's Josh Bergman's machine getting set to line up on the grid, and it's going to shuffle just a little bit. I think they're going to move Ashton Woon as they're looking on how the results ended up here in this one, but it's definitely been interesting so far, Alex. And this is one of the things that was added to this year's, IAME Grand National Championship. We didn't have this last year. We didn't have the shootout for all this money last year, and it's been super cool to see this year, especially with all these young drivers given a shot and given a chance to also prove themselves and give them all a chance to win a little bit of money. And by a little bit, I mean that's $1,000. That's $1,000 that I'd happily take. If it wasn't for anything, I'd enter you right now, put you in a cadet cart, and get you out there with those mini Swift drivers. I'm sure you're just at the height, just at the weight level as well to get out there with all of them.
Any chance you get to to make fun of my height, you do it. But it's all out of love. So like you said, again, you probably wouldn't even notice the difference if I was in the go-kart, to be honest. Yeah. But
put Diego Ramos out there on the racetrack with all these guys and have him go out there and drive. You probably need a heel rest as well. And that's all jokes aside. But again, it'll be interesting. But this is great. This is really great. And for the sport to be where it's at now, to give these drivers and put them at a superstar level. We don't have all-star races in our sport, but this is definitely, this weekend, especially the IAME Grand National Championships, definitely seems that way every time we come out here. You see Josh Bergman looking on, getting ready to go out there on the racetrack. And again, a little bit of a helmet switch for Josh as well as he gets set to go out. The clear visors are out, I think, for everybody except for Royce Vega. So that could also be something to look out for as well. How much visibility do you have on the racetrack? Anybody else? Ashton Woon as well, opting for the tinted visor, so that's interesting. Again, this track is well lit, so it'd probably get by just fine.
I think part of it also, it's a fashion statement, you got to look cool. So
not only that as well, but when you're going side by side with a driver and you both look over at each other, if you're wearing a tinted visor, you can't look in. But if you're wearing one and your opponent's wearing a clear visor, you can look right into his soul and see if he's going to pull, go for the move or going to back out of it. So that'll be interesting. These guys are ice cold, not even nervous to get out there, and they're locked in. Yesterday, especially with Royce Vega. Was talking to him yesterday on the grid, and this kid didn't even say a word to me. He was so locked in and so ready to go out onto the racetrack that he didn't say a word. He was so focused and getting ready to go out. So best of luck to Royce, and that's a nice little sticker he has on his front fairing as well. So kudos to him.
Exactly, yeah, representing Kart Chaser pretty well. Thanks. So there's a thumbs up from Royce Vega as well. So good to see that these young drivers can also hear us out there on the grid. So engines should be getting fired shortly here for these mini Swift drivers to get ready to go after it for $1,000. Like you said, probably the biggest payday that these young drivers would have in their short career to this point. There's Justin Dietrich giving them kind of the directions on 2 laps out there of warm up the tires, and then going out there and finally getting the green flag.
Hey, Mr. Race to 50 as well. He's already down with 20-plus states. He only has a couple of more to go. I believe 19 states he has left. He raced with us over at the Texas Racing Series earlier this year as well, so that was cool to see him trying to rip some laps in his shifter. But myself and himself, I think we're better working these events than we've been racing them. Last time I raced one didn't end well for me, and for Justin, he's done a good job. I believe he got a race win in his name as well in one of the states that he definitely raced at. So anyways, that's that. We take the focus off of us, put it back onto these young superstars as they get set to go out. And it's going to be exciting all the way through. $1,000 on the line for all these young drivers, age groups from just about 10 to about 13 years old. Some maybe even younger than that, around the 9-year-old age. That's Josh Bergman, I believe. Parker Ives as well, around 9 years old, 10 years old. So some pretty young drivers who are going to show us some great racing action, keep us entertained for sure, Alex.
Yeah, here we go. Drivers heading out onto the racetrack now, led by Marco Samet and Cade Wolf for Ticket Tech Top Kart here. So 2 warm-up laps for these young drivers, then they will see the green flag. Let's see if we can get the starting lineup up on your screen to give you an idea of what you can expect here as these young drivers head out on the racetrack for $1,000. Samet, Wolf on the front row, behind them Bergman and Woon. Like I mentioned earlier, with Vega running out your top 5, it was separated by less than a tenth of a second in qualifying. expect more of the same here when we get going for this main event shootout race here. So Samet, Wolf, Woon, Bergman, your top 4, then Vega and Old Myers.
You go back to Nico Kotowski and Parker Ives on row number 4. And it all ends up with Maxwell Macha and Kaysen Hodge, the SLA Kart Republic and the Sodi Racing USA machine lining up from the final row. And again, we've seen the grip levels on this racetrack. It's going to be a little bit different with some of the cut-throughs, with some of the chicanes as well. So you got to make sure the gear's right, the setup's right, the tire pressure's right, the driver's right, and the driver is ready to go out there and perform. So all to play for here in this one. Your 10 all-star drivers getting set to go out onto the racetrack. Your Mini Swift Saturday shootout getting set to go green. The race for $1,000 is about to start here in a couple of moments' time. And I tell you what, Alex, these fences are absolutely lined. You need to get here early and get yourself within a shot because it's shoulder to shoulder all the way down almost to the scales. So that'll be something to look out for as well. And I bet hopefully we can hear some of that crowd going crazy for their favorite Mini Swift drivers. And you see everybody looking on as these Mini Swift drivers get set to go out onto the racetrack. Not a spot left on this fence line as your Mini Swift drivers go into the tram lines. We look to the flags this time by. The green flag is out this time, and we are racing here in the Mini Swift shootout. Marco Samet goes to the point of the field. Vega looks to the bottom of the racetrack. He can't get clear. Ashton Woon's up to second.
What a start for Ashton Woon, already looking at the rear bumper now. Marco Samet down the back straight he goes. The BGR MDR driver's gonna have to defend in the 4. He has a bumper load there and has to really catch the go-kart in the 4, able to hold on to it. Cade Wolf now fending off his teammate Holden Myers for 4th further back. It looks like Josh Bergman in the mix now in the 5th. He maintains where he started. Woon up the inside and through. The Super 2 Paralyn driver's now defending into turn number 8. Oh, Samet's gonna get to the bumper of him. Further back, Ives going side by side with Bergman. Bergman's gonna hold on to that one. Parker Ives, speaking of which, he's actually falling back outside your top 5 or so. He's there. The second group he's leading that second group there as we see a move now for Cade Wolf on the inside as well. So Samet leads. Cade Wolf now to P2. Woon down to 3rd, and what an exit out of turn number 3. Cade Wolf rockets by Marco Samet to the lead.
Yeah, Cade Wolf, the North Carolina native, doesn't want to waste any time. He gets ahead of Marco Samet there into the bull, and now Samet gonna have his sights set on Wolf, looking to set up an over-under move here. Samet on the inside, he's able to get clear. And there goes Ashton Woon as well. Holden Myers gonna go side by side with his teammate Tech Kart teammate around the outside. Myers is into the grass. He's gonna be pushed off. Royce Vega looks to go through. Parker Ives looking to go through as well. He's able to get clear. Bergman gets clear. And I spoke too soon because Holden Myers is able to hold on to it around the outside in turn number 1, Alex.
Yeah, well, Holden Myers got back on the racetrack. I think it caught Parker Ives off guard. He had to, pump the brakes there to not run to the backfield, but now down the back straightaway he goes. Ives and Myers side by side. Ives gets through, so Ives up to P6 now, but he's lost track of the leaders. But if they continue to fight like they have, all weekend long, I think he'll have a chance in this one. So Woon now all over the bumper of Samet. Do we see him to the inside? No, but through the fast left-right chicane now to begin another lap here in this Mini Swift shootout. It's still Samet over Woon, Wolf, Bergman, Vega. That's your top 5, and then it's a second back to the second group led by Parker Ives.
Yeah, the fastest driver on the racetrack right now is the Benek machine of Royce Vega, a 37.481 for Royce. He looks to close down his gap to Josh Bergman, who's in the 4th spot, and he's going to lap around pretty quickly. And if Samet, Woon, and all of them continue to fight and continue to defend, this is going to bring more and more drivers into the mix. Ives isn't too far off. Myers as well. He's only 2.5 seconds back. There's Bergman on the inside. He's able to get clear of Cade Wolf that time around.
What a move for Josh Bergman, putting himself in prime position to maybe go out there and win $1,000 at the end of this one. So Vega now, trying to hunt down Cade Wolf, looking to be fast enough at this point in the race. Looking further back, one of the fastest drivers on the racetrack last time by, actually the fastest, was in fact Parker Ives and Nico Kotowski. Kotowski was the only one faster than him. He's through the inside. Nico Kotowski now on the Sodi kart. He wants to be the first one to get to that second group if they begin to fight. So he's the leader of this second pack. He's up to P6. Up front, though, it's still Samet over Woon. At some point, Ashton Woon's going to have to go through on Samet because Bergman is right there.
Yeah, Bergman not too far off, but he drops a tire into the grass, and that's not going to help him out. Cade Wolf looking to fire into turn number 1. He's not going to be close enough. Ives is, though, on the inside of Nico Kotowski. Ives gets clear. He's up to P6 now, so Parker Ives going to have his sight set forward, but Kotowski looking to answer back into turn number 3. Kotowski gets clear. He's up to 5th now, and your top 2 continue to run away after that mistake by Josh Bergman has definitely stagnated their run forward, and we'll see when Woon and Samet decide to fight here in this race. But Bergman really needs to hit those marks and not lose any more time, because he doesn't want to let the top two get away, and is definitely going to want to be there in the end to win those $1,000.
Yeah, last time we crossed the stripe, we saw the halfway six in the air, so halfway home here for this mini Swift shootout. It's still Samet over Woon. We saw last time around Ives and Katowski going after it. They were within 1.6 of the lead, but after fighting all the way throughout, as we see further back, Ives and Katowski once again going at it for P6 rather than working together and maybe trying to fight $4,000. They're stuck fighting for P6. You know, at this point, they're hoping for the leaders to battle, but Ashton Woon has been, you know, a veteran, I'd say, at this point in this race, not, you know, blinking an eye. He wants to stay behind Samet until at least 2 to go. Yeah,
it's really easy to get antsy and you know, to want to fight and to want to get up there, but again, you need to find yourself with a little bit of patience. You don't want to fight too much. There's a bigger picture in this as well. The top 5 are running away, and as good as the money sounds, all these kids are racers at heart and are definitely going to want to win this race, no matter if it's just a shootout, no matter if it's up for the money, but they want to get up there, and you know, they're almost, you know, trained to defend in normal races, but this is different. With 5 laps, there's nothing at stake, nothing at the line. The only thing you need to really worry about is bringing your equipment home and keeping it nice and clean for whenever you hit the racetrack tomorrow. But again, still a lot of money on the line, and for these kids, they're absolutely sending it out here, and there goes Samet, able to stay ahead. Woon in the second spot. Bergman goes clear. 2 sticks in the air. Officially crunch time for your Mini Swift drivers. 2 laps left to determine who's going to win the $1,000 here in the shootout.
2 to go, 1.5 to go now, so Samet at some point is going to have to defend. He does it a little bit too late. He leaves the door wide open. Ashton Woon's going to take the invitation. He's going to take that top spot away. Bergman now to second. Samet's going to try to sneak his way through it back into P2, but not going to happen. He's going to put the bumper to Bergman, who's going to move Woon up the racetrack. Woon to the bottom of the racetrack now. He's going to have to do it for the rest of this remaining lap and the next one as well. Woon goes low. Bergman goes high, a little bit too high. He leaves the door open for Samet, who's back up to P2.
And there goes Cade Wolf joining the party. Everybody else as well is in tow. Parker Ives, Royce Vega arriving on the scene as Ashton Woon is going to defend. The white flag is in the air. Bergman right behind Samet. Ashton Woon going to have to defend. All 10 drivers in the shootout are within a shot to win it here. Everybody to the bottom of the racetrack. Woon to the bottom. Ives goes to the high side. Maxwell Macha around the high side as well. Kason Hodge looking to go through. The last couple of corners are coming your way, folks, as Samet gets into the back of Ashton Woon, and that's going to open up the gap. Bergman going to slow down a lot. They make contact. Parker Ives gets together with Cade Wolf, and that's going to release Ashton Woon. He has one more chicane to go. He's able to get it done. Samet looking to go back, but Ashton Woon wins the Mini Swift shootout.
Unreal chaos here in Mini Swift. Woon is $1,000 richer. Samet P2. Royce Vega at the line beats Macha for third. Then Kason Hodge finishes in your top 5. And Holden Myers, Katowski, Bergman, and then obviously Wolf and Ives. DNF here in the Mini Swift shootout. You can see the frustration in the background for Parker Ives. He thought that he had potentially an outsider's chance here on the final couple of laps, but unfortunately his day is going to end on the back of the trailer there. So Parker Ives, frustrated for him, frustration for Cade Wolf, elation for Ashton Woon and Super Toon Paralyn. They win $1,000.
Let's look back at the shopakr.com replay. Everything hits the fan whenever Josh Bergman hops over that curb, and then Parker Ives goes over. He's getting pushed from behind and just hops over the front fairing there of Cade Wolf, and that puts the 2 of them out of contention, and that allows Ashton Woon and Marco Samet to really just run away with it there at the end of the race. And man, we have to catch our breaths after that one, Alex. That was insane from some of our youngest drivers, and everybody in the end was within a shot to win that $1,000, but in the end, it was this kid here. He started the year off with a broken arm, missed the first couple of races. He came back at the United States Pro Kart Series at Speed Sports, picked up right where he left off, and this weekend again, he picked up another race win and another check back onto his young career. So Ashton Woon wins the Mini Swift shootout, and I'm pretty sure we'll be hearing from him here in a couple of moments' time. So that was insane there, Alex. And I mean, we must say it's good to see these kids go at it, but I guess that crash in the end, definitely not how you want to see it end. But Sarah Bradley is standing by with your shootout race winner, Ashton Woon.
Here with Ashton Woon. You just won $1,000 in the shootout. What does this mean to you?
It means a lot. It's a lot of money, and I can get a lot of stuff with it.
That's okay. That's great. Did you think that you had the win? It was a lot of battling, and you guys were shuffling a lot. How difficult was this for you?
It was decently difficult, but I was behind Samet the whole time, and I knew I could get around him at the end, and it happened. So I just defended as best as I could, and I won.
Great job. Who would you like to thank for helping you with this victory?
My mom, my dad, my sister, Yen Yen and Opa, all my sponsors, Mountain Motorsports, Apex, Porsche, North Scottsdale, DDW, Axel Logistics, and everybody else that supported me.
Good job, Ashton. Back to you, Xander.
Well, thank you very much there, Sarah, but it's Caleb, unfortunately, up here in the booth
Thank you.
with Alex. And there you guys have it. Ashton Woon, $1,000 into the bank account there for him, and hopefully, you know, if he plays video games, maybe something into the PS store or whatever he's going to want to get there. So, luckily there for Ashton Woon, $1,000 into the bank. But we're getting set to do it all over again with your X30 Juniors as they get set to go out onto the racetrack here in a couple of moments' time. And we look back on and we reset. But everybody gets set to go back out onto the racetrack now, and it's going to be a wild one, to say the least here, Alex. That's going to be, it all started there with your Mini Swift drivers. It's going to be the same thing with your X30 Junior drivers, and we're going to end off the day with your X30 Pros, and that's going to be a crazy, crazy race, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely, especially if that Mini Swift Shootout is anything to go off of for the rest of the night into X30 Junior, into obviously the X30 Pro Shootout later on in the evening as well. It's going to be nail-biters all the way throughout. But for X30 Junior, we saw Ty Fisher put on the pole position. It was a pretty dramatic end to that qualifying session, but it was Race Lab TV on top. He's been really quick all weekend long, finally figured out that X30 package, and he's proving it here tonight. Yeah,
so a lot of drivers definitely with a point to prove. We saw how you know, crazy that race was, and it's only going to continue to go up and up and up and up here. The energy levels on the fence line seem quite nice. A lot of people happy to be out here at the racetrack. No storms in the area, so that's another good thing. 8:16 p.m. local time, so been quite all right to say the least. But you look back on, and we'll run you down your qualifying order here at the moment, Alex, and I believe due to that contact in between Ty Fisher and Peyton Westcott, that's going to leave this kid, the 706, on the pole position. Alexander Vanchev going to start the shootout on the inside, and on the outside is going to be Ty Fisher in the lime green TB Kart.
Yeah, behind them, it's TKG's Kart Republic, Enzo Vidmontien. He's been super fast all weekend long, one of the drivers to beat, but alongside it, another driver, you know, on board the Ryan Perry Motorsports camp, the OTK driver, Davin Roberts. He's rocking the tinted visor there, so obviously it's still bright enough out there to where you can actually make that work, and obviously it looks pretty cool as well.
And,
so that's always
we also talked about tinted visors. Ashton Moon was one of those drivers, and it didn't seem to affect him at all. He was able to go out there and win that race the last time out, so we'll see if tinted visors can go 2 for 2. Best of luck to you, Davin Roberts. We move back to the next row with Peyton Westcott, the young lady from California, representing the Rawson Performance Group. She's starting alongside what looked to be Chase Gassiet Lee, the kid from Florida, with a Coastal Link OTK machine. So best of luck as well to Chase Gassiet Lee and Peyton Westcott. We move further back down the order. Again, another Rawson Performance Group machine in Fion Shi. He's getting set to go out alongside his teammate in Amador Martinez.
Yeah, behind them, going to round out this field, it's TKG's Lucas Palacio. I mean, it's been an up and down weekend so far for him, but for a driver that's been super fast over in Europe, making his return to the States here on board the X30 Junior package for a driver so young, he is so impressive. He's going to round out your field for the X30 Junior Shootout.
So your X30 Juniors get set to go out onto the racetrack now, and it's all going to kick off here in a couple of moments' time. We ran you down your grid order. This is it, the last support class shootout before we get into your X30 Pro Shootout. This is the last time we're going to race under an alternate layout for these X30 Juniors tomorrow in the Super Heat. And in the main event, the race for the IAME Grand National Championship is going to be the normal national layout here at Trackhouse Motorplex. So this is it. This is the last time they're going to have to switch the setup, switch whatever they're going to have to do, and take care of that equipment before going into tomorrow, Alex. But one full lap around for all these X30 Juniors. And I mean, when you look how the day's gone, who is your favorite coming into this one?
I got to go with Ty Fisher. He was the one that put it on provisional pole position that got taken away from him here before the shootout started. But nonetheless, starting on the outside of row 1, it's not a terrible place to start here. It's tough, to hold on to second place. Usually you fall back to third, but I still think Ty Fisher's the favorite. You can't really go wrong with any of these drivers. There's a reason why they're in the shootout in the first place, but for me, my pick's Ty Fisher.
Yeah, Ty Fisher is definitely a good one. You definitely can't go wrong with Enzo Vidamontian either. I'm expecting to see him have some good pace and try and get his way up there. So you got Ty Fisher. I'll go with the fellow Kart Republic here, the hometown for Kart Sport North America. So we'll see how those two drivers fend off the rest of the field. Alexander Vanchev as well has been super strong, and I can't forget about Chase Gasly, Peyton Westcott. Those two drivers have been really good as well. So we'll see how they all shape up here, but it's going to be a close one. It's going to be a good one as well, Alex. This is it. The last corner before we head into the tram lines. And for Alexander Vanchev, it's been a crawling pace. He hasn't been able to get a heat race win to this point. He's lost it in the last couple of laps both times. He has one more shot for $1,000 here on the Saturday night. The green flag is out, and we are racing in the X30 Junior Shootout. Vanchev is able to get clear. Vidamontian is up to second, side by side between Westcott and Roberts. Westcott looking on the inside of turn 3. She looked to get clear, not close enough. Going to fall under fire to Chase Gasly at lead.
Like I mentioned, Ty Fisher loses that spot immediately at the start. It's rough to go around the outside here, but it's a long shootout here. You can play it patient if you want a chance at $1,000. And remember, Ty Fisher won last night's KA Junior Shootout, so he's looking to go 2 for 2 in the Junior Shootouts this weekend. This is going to help. Inside, he's going to try to be clear of Vidamontian, but around the outside he goes. He's going to run him out of road and put him in the dirt. Vidamontian goes almost to the back of the grid. That's going to stack him up further back with Fianchy, Gasly, Palacio, and Martinez.
The sparks are flying here, and everybody else further back. That's going to be a long way to get themselves further up the field because Alexander Vanchev has a really big gap, and this is going to help him out even more. Davin Roberts on the inside of Ty Fisher to turn number 4.
Yeah, all this passing is going to allow the likes of Alexander Vanchev to start to ride off into the sunset, even though I think the sun has already begun, if not set, here in Mooresville, North Carolina. But for Vanchev, he's loving this. Further back, Westcott through to the inside, Martinez through to the inside, and Palacio's going to run Fianchy and himself out of road there in the penultimate corner. All this battling is fun to watch, but it's really allowing this field to completely spread out.
Yeah, everybody getting spread out here. Chase Gasly and Palacio. Gasly taps the back of his helmet and wants that little bit of push from Lucas Palacio. We'll see how the young gun works together with Chase Gasly here as they're both making up some time to this front group. But Peyton Westcott now, she was able to get around Ty Fisher the last time around. She sits in the 3rd spot, Fisher in 4th. Then you go up to Davin Roberts and the rest of the field who are closing down the gap to the Sodi Racing USA machine of Alexander Vanchev. That gap was at half a second, and it stays there this lap around. The lap time starts to come in. Davin Roberts, 0.2 of a second quicker than your leader.
Yeah, Davin Roberts, 0.2 faster. Nobody quicker, though, than Peyton Westcott, the RPG Cosmic driver, all over the rear bumper now of the RPM machine here through turn number 4. Do we see him move into the cutoff? We do. Westcott through to the inside. Fisher tried to follow through but couldn't make it stick. Peyton Westcott to P2. She's the first driver that could have a chance here to get to Vanchev if she can get there. Fisher as well through on Roberts. So Ty Fisher back up into the 3rd spot.
Yeah, Fisher not wasting any time. You saw Davin Roberts slow down a little bit after getting passed there by Westcott. Fisher has to go 2, pass or be passed in his X30 Junior Shootout, and that's exactly how it played out for Davin Roberts. And now Peyton Westcott can be the next driver to try and close down her gap to Alexander Vanchev. She knocked off another 10th from the lap prior, so we'll see how it all plays out here. That gap is at just over half a second with that pass by Westcott. We'll see what it looks like when she crosses the line this time by.
Yeah, it was 0.6 like you mentioned, but around the penultimate corner and through the left-right chicane. Let's see what the gap is. It looks to be a little bit less than 0.6 this time around. It's 0.5, a 10th quicker for Peyton Westcott last time around. Nobody, though, faster than the Race Lab TV machine. Ty Fisher all over the bumper through turn 3, down the hill. We might see him move to the inside if he wants it. Here he goes through the bull corner. Ty Fisher side by side all the way throughout. Westcott doesn't want to give it up, but she has to. Ty Fisher to the 2nd.
I'm pretty sure after looking down at his Micron, he saw that lap time that he put in, the fastest lap that we've seen so far on this racetrack, a 34.438 for Ty Fisher. Roberts looking on Peyton Westcott. Roberts is able to get clear. He's up in the 3rd now, but Ty Fisher's absolutely flying here, Alex, and he knocks off another 10th, making that pass there. And now Enzo Vidamontian looking on the inside of Peyton Westcott. Vidamontian's able to get clear. Westcott loses a lot of time there, trying to hold on to it around the outside.
Yeah, Enzo Vidamontian's charge continues through the field. He got pushed off the racetrack and almost fell back to about 7th or so in this shootout. He's back to 4th here. He has an outsider's chance of making this work for himself if Ty Fisher can get to Vanchev. Right now, Vanchev doing just enough to maintain that lead. Like you mentioned, last time around, Fisher was a little bit quicker than him, but I think it might be plateauing so far for Fisher. Let's see this time around. 34.4 for Vanchev, the same exact lap time almost for Ty Fisher. So Vanchev, I will say, to give him a quick shout out, personal best for Vanchev. So the SOTY kart machine is continuing to get faster as the shootout goes on. Roberts now the one who goes purple.
Yeah, Roberts went quickest the last time around at 34.381 that time for Davin Roberts. He's about a little bit off to Ty Fisher at the moment. That's about 0.4 of a second in between those two drivers. So some work to do for Roberts and for Ty Fisher as well. We'll see what his lap looks like this time around. He looks a lot closer to Alexander Vanchev, I must say here, Alex, and the gap stays the same. Vanchev actually went 0.4 of a second quicker than Ty Fisher, so it's all falling apart in this stage of the race for Ty Fisher, unfortunately. He's not looking to close down that gap anymore, and he's falling under the clutches of that Ryan Perry Motorsports driver in Davin Roberts, who's going to look for a pass here as soon as he gets on that rear bumper.
Yeah, Ty Fisher starting to fade here late in this shootout race. Davin Roberts starting to close in as well, but it's looking pretty good here for Alexander Vanchev. It's almost 0.7 of a second as they cross the stripe here. White flag in the air. One more time around for SOTY Kart USA and Alexander Vanchev. This is the closest battle we have on the racetrack right now, and it's for P2. Ty Fisher is going to try to hold off Davin Roberts. All the while, Vanchev starting to pull away here, Caleb.
Vanchev is pulling away. He started the year off with the Zanella Racing crew. He moved over to SOTY Racing USA, and ever since then, this kid has been absolutely flying, and this is the best shot he has to $1,000. The last couple of corners coming up for this young man. Ty Fisher's going to start to defend, and it's all going to fall into the hands of the SOTY Racing USA crew. Alexander Vanchev wins the X30 Junior Shootout.
Wow, Alexander Vanchev, $1,000 for him there. Fisher P2, Roberts finishes in third. Vimontienne, his comeback drive stops at P4. Peyton West got a good run for her to finish fifth. Martinez, Gassi Lee, Palacio, Fianchy, rounding out your X30 Junior Shootout. Congratulations to Alexander Vanchev.
With all that being said, we take a break from the action. Our first commercial break of the shootout, and we're sorry, my apologies there. We're going to continue going here and try to hear from some of our drivers here. So we're going to go and talk to the interview to our winner here in Alexander Vanchev, who's had a crazy story so far this year. We've heard from him earlier on in the year, but we're going to hear from him now here in a couple of moments' time. But this kid definitely put on a clinic here in the shootout. That team was on rails. They did everything they needed to get on that top step of the podium. Alexander Vanchev wins the Grand, and that goes for the team as well. So congratulations to that SOTY Racing USA crew, and I'm sure we're going to be speaking to him here in a couple of moments' time. The last little weigh in for him. He looks to be good. So Alexander Vanchev, officially your X30 Junior Shootout race winner, and we're going to speak to him. Steven Eisert, elated for his young driver, and a driver who, Eisert's had a lot in coaching him as well. So congratulations there to Alex, and we'll be having a word with him here in a couple of moments' time as well. So I'm sure he's going to be super, super excited. The entire team excited for him as well. So we'll wait for him to take that helmet off, and we'll speak to him here in a couple of moments' time. Sarah is down there on the pit lane as well, so we'll wait for Alex to do the last little bit of celebration with his family and team members before we send it into our interview here. But, man, this kid drove his heart out, Alex, to say the least.
Well, this is a well-deserved victory for Alexander Vanchev. A long time coming. You know, he's had his heat race victories. He's had his good qualifying performances. Hasn't been able to put it together on, on a main event victory, but this is as close as we get to main event victories here. A shootout win and $1,000.
With all that being said, Sarah Bradley is standing by now with Alexander Vanchev. Eric Jones going to give him the check. So how about that for Alexander Vanchev, and we'll cue him up here shortly. He's looking to take that suit off as well, so I'm sure he's super excited about it. Pictures going in underway, so we'll let them wrap that up. They're super excited about that, so our camera in prime position there for Alexander Vanchev to get it done. Hopefully we can get a word with him here before we send it into our commercial break. And Sarah Bradley is standing by with your X30 Junior Shootout race winner. Down to you, Sarah. So seems to be a little bit of an audio issue there with Sarah. We'll wait here a couple of moments, figure out whatever we got going on. But Alexander Vanchev, a good showing for him, to say the least. And we'll wait to have that primed and ready here in a couple of moments' time. Looks like they're ready now, so we'll send it down to you one more time, Sarah. What do you got?
Here with the 706 of Alexander Vanchev. Alex, you just won $1,000. What does this mean to you?
You know, when I started karting, this is exactly what I wish I could have done, so it feels truly amazing to finally be able to live the moment.
That's great. You got to the lead early, and you just pulled away. What did you think when you got to the lead?
You know, I knew that I had the pace on this layout. The go-kart felt really, really good. And, you know, when I got to the lead, I just tried to be as consistent as possible and, you know, try and check out.
Well, it worked out great. Was that the plan, or were you expecting it to be chaos like Junior tends to be sometimes?
Yeah, for sure, I expected it to be chaos, but, you know, I mean, of course I liked it better this way to just pull away with the win.
Me too. I think we all expected a little bit of chaos, but it worked out great for you. Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank the entire SODI USA team, Kevin Burgess, my dad, and my teammate Steven Iser, and then all the family back home, and of course my mechanic Ricardo.
Yep, they're all standing here with you. Back to you guys. Commercial break for Senior.
Thank you very much there, Sarah, and you guys heard it right. Our X30 Pro is getting set to go out into the racetrack, but before we head into that, a quick commercial break. We'll take a pause from the action. When we come back, more action coming your way live on Kart Chaser.
Parallel USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parallel Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParalleLUSA.com.
So you finally want to get behind the wheel, huh?
Yeah, I've been shooting for 3 years and I've never got to drive.
Well, you're gonna need some more gear than just your helmet. Why don't you go to shopakr.com? They got their inventory online and they'll ship it the same day if you order before 5:30 p.m. Eastern.
They got shoes,
Yep,
gloves,
yep,
rib protectors.
got those too.
Can they make me go fast?
No.
Here at Acceleration Kart Racing, we've got everything you need to get on track. What happens next? Well, that's on you. Check us out online at shopakr.com.
Are you looking for an advantage in your competition? Well, Car Class has done the hard work for you. We've traveled to your racetracks to give you the inside knowledge. So what does Car Class offer? We've got drone footage that captures the racing lines, visual markers for your braking points, acceleration zones, and the best overtake opportunities on your racetrack. Pedal cam to show you where to brake and when to accelerate, and 360-degree footage to make sure you don't miss any parts on the racetrack. We've covered 13 racetracks in the United States, and Australia, you're up next. So visit carclass.com to get your track information.
Massive turnouts, world-class venues, and an awesome family-friendly atmosphere. All of these and more are pillars of the U.S. Pro Kart Series, which is gearing up for its biggest season yet in 2023. Orlando, Houston, Newcastle, Cincinnati, and Mooresville. Welcome to the top level of North American karting. Welcome to the U.S. Pro Kart Series.
Well, welcome back here trackside at Trackhouse Motorplex. We'll send it down to Xander Clements, who's going to give us the honors to start this one out. Xander, what do you got for us?
It's my honor, really, to be able to bring the first ever Grand Marshal for the MG Tires X30 Shootout, the fourth running of this fantastic event. Many of you around the paddock might know of Colin Brown, the former world champion, one of the most renowned driver coaches that we have here in the U.S. We are so lucky to be able to have him with us and to be ready to give the command to fire the engines. For those, of course, joining us online right now, you may have just watched the primary Fast 5 Shootouts Plus Promoters picks for the X30 Junior class, as well as for the Mini Swift division. Then, of course, now it is a little bit longer of a program for the X30 Pro Driver Shootout. They are going to be running the warm-up as well as the two pill pick races and then the feature event. So again, with X30 Pro, the MG Tires Shootout is just about to get underway. For all of everyone in the paddock, I should quit stuttering. I'm so excited to get this event underway. Colin, first of all, I want to say thank you very much for being our Grand Marshal. You're the first one to ever do it. It is going to be my pleasure to give you the microphone to get these 15 drivers underway. Of course, for those that were watching along, we had the fan vote winner, Santiago Fernandez, ready, and over 100 votes got the Miami, Florida native into this X30 Shootout. The top 10 after heat points and qualifying points have made their way in on merit. And a couple of promoters' picks, as always, from Eric Jones and IAME USA East and the Trackhouse Motorplex crew. Colin, we'd like to give you the honors to say the most famous words in motorsports.
Thank you, Xander. I really appreciate it. Before I do anything, I've got a question to ask, if you wouldn't mind.
Not at all. Drivers, please to your carts, and to the future Mr. and Mrs. Colin Brown, as we clear the grid, we'd like to give you both the honor to say the most famous words in motorsports. So drivers, to your carts. Colin, Melanie, the last few moments of the drivers, they were up here getting a quick look at us. There's a massive crowd around. Everyone's excited, but for both of you, take it away.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the MG Tires X30 Shootout with $5,000 up for grabs is ready to go green. Warm up, 2 Bill Pick Heat races, and 5,000 big ones going to the feature winner tonight after 15 laps.
How about that? We have it all here at the IAME Grand Nationals. We have a marriage and we have it all. So congratulations to Colin Brown and his future wife, Melanie Brown, as well, we could say. So congratulations to all of them. You see the emotion out of Colin's eyes, but it's also time to go racing. We appreciate them and all the honors that they did. But Alex, I'm going to have to be leaving you here for a couple of moments' time. I'll give you the honors of announcing this warm-up session with you, and I'll let Xander come back in. This has been exciting racing all weekend long, and I'm excited to see how this race plays out here as it all continues to go. Ryan Norberg and a couple of others slow off the line. So I'll see you on the other side, I should say, Alex, and I'll let Xander step in here to announce the shootouts.
Yeah, absolutely here. So we get our warm-up underway, and once again, congratulations to Colin and now Melanie Brown as well for their wonderful engagement there as well. So for Colin Brown, congratulations. But now it's time for the X30 Pro Senior Shootout warm-up sessions here. 15 drivers out there and ready to take battle for a lot of money tonight in this shootout event. There's a good look at Dalton Haynes. He knows what it's like to win around this place, not around this layout. But one driver that does know what it's like to win around this layout, I will say, is Paulie Massimino. He won last night's K100 Senior Shootout. He was the winner, Xander. If you remember, of course you do, it was pretty much the inaugural event of this race and pretty much our debut at Kart Chase. We're doing live streams as well. So for Massimino, he knows what it's like to win around this style layout.
What you'll also see right now, Alex, is the fact that a lot of these drivers are going to take their time to try and save the tires. They have to go out on new rubber. They get one set of tires to kind of scuff in. But you're not going to see, I think, a lot of them or any of them because some of the teams have data from the previous iteration of this shootout on this layout in X30 Pro, and they're on that softer compound. So this is a practice session. It is not a qualifier like what we saw in the support classes. So you're going to see more drivers just take their time to scuff the rubber in and probably head to the pit lane early. They may go 1 or 2 push laps, but I don't think you'll see most of this field run the entirety of this quick warm-up session. As usual, again, it'll be the warm-up, then a couple heats, and then it will be the feature event for $5,000, which, if it's anything like the parity and the competition level that we've seen from the X30 Pro drivers today, I would expect to see some fireworks. Now, Jackson Wolney and Josh Hodes, couple of promoters picks on your screen. They are part of the 15 that have made up the field here tonight. Jackson Wolney, the rookie, and then Josh Hodes, one of the most experienced veterans in the field. Talk about a stark contrast. And at the same point here, as the first times pile on, Ryan Norberg has won this event before. He's won the overall event before. And we are already seeing Frankie Mossman on the SCR Red Speed head to the pit lane, just as expected here. Couple laps, warm it up, pull it in, and just scuff those tires so you still have plenty of rubber to the end of the night.
Yeah, as well, I want to mention here, the Mini Swift and the X30 Junior Shootouts put on an incredible show for us. This layout, I think a lot of drivers mentioned in the layouts that we saw today in heats 2 and 3, difficult to pass around, pretty easy to defend on and not get crossed over too much. This layout, it keeps the back straightaway, so you have that long straight into the bowl corner, so you have that passing opportunity. But then you also have the backwards turn 8 hairpin. That's a good passing opportunity as well, as we see Hayden Jones making a move there on Brandon Carr as well. So, like you mentioned, a lot of drivers just getting their baseline laps and just getting acclimated to the racetrack. They're not really pushing too hard, but just to give a little bit of kudos to Ryan Norberg, he is the fastest so far in this practice session.
Yeah, Ryan is a driver that did almost get to the lead in this layout in the very first iteration. He and Connor Zilish were extremely quick, and then they collided for the lead, battling at the front of the pack about halfway through the race. That shootout race had a little bit of everything. You had the field spread out, you had a battle, a pack fight to the end, and you also had some controversy with the next generation and the current generation, Ryan Norberg, and at the time, rookie Connor Zilish colliding right at the exit of this infield hairpin, and it also collected a few more of the superstars. But as the last couple of laps pile on, well, the majority have now headed for the scale house. However, the driver who won this event in its inaugural edition, who won last night, Paulie Massimino in the 308 BJR MDR machine. He just is staying on the racetrack for the moment, but pulling off to the side and trying to not give, I believe, too much heat or wear into his tires. He just went down for one quick lap there. P6 for the 308 machine. Hayden Jones went to the top, Nick Terlecki to second, and I think both of them are going to bail out early into the scale house. So they'll both go in, quickly get a gauge on everything. Again, this warm-up is probably the closest thing to the definition of a true warm-up that we'll have, Alex, where they are able, or they're really just looking to make sure everything's working on the go-kart. Brandon Carr is actually trying to take advantage of it and learn a little bit. He's among the many, about half of this field, that have never driven this layout before. Carter McMurray and Nick Terlecki also have not raced on this layout yet. Cameron Weinberg has not. Jacob Kolar has not. Justin Anaconis hasn't either. So you go down the line with Dalton Haynes, while he was on the entry list and put it on the pole that weekend, he did not make the shootout after DNFing in 2 of his 3 heat races. So he has never actually run on this layout, even though he was a part of that 2021 event. And I don't believe Josh Holtz was in the X30 category at that time either. He was still in K100. So about 5 of your 15 have run this before. And, well, Nick Terlecki, best of the newcomers to this short course. But things change a ton. We're on a completely different tire. We're actually running now we had just switched over to the rounded one-piece exhaust pipe system. And I think the engine builders were still learning a lot there. The teams changed, the chassis changed. So even though there is some data from 4 years ago, even the gear ratio might be a little bit off.
Yeah, I mean, this is a sightseeing session for a lot of these drivers. For ones who have been out there, you're just, remembering, okay, braking zone, turn and marker, and what that may be. But for half the drivers on this grid, like you mentioned, who haven't even seen this sort of layout, the first half of the racetrack, you know it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to the bowl corner, and then you have that cut through. It's a different cut through than what we saw earlier today in heats 2 and 3, and then you go backwards on like I mentioned earlier, on what usually is the turn 8 hairpin. You do it backwards. You don't do that very often at all, and then obviously you have that fast left-right chicane that we haven't seen all day either. So only 4 corners. They really have to go out there and learn, so to speak. But like you said, half the teams probably have a bit of data, still not, very accurate to what they're going to see out there on the racetrack as well. Different time of day, different, month in the year as well. So a lot of things can change. But again, these drivers are all pros. They know what they're doing out there.
100%. These are the superstars. The All-Star event now underway, and we're going to send it on down to Caleb Vieska on pit lane. Alex, you did a great job and set the bar high with the grid walks. There's a look at Justin Dittrich here, keeping an eye on all the drivers rolling through the scales, and we're ready to send it down to the track for a quick bit of feedback on the layout and what everybody's expecting of it, because unlike back in 2021 in the first edition of this event, there was not any support races that ran on the undercard that cleaned off the layout. So now there's actually been a little rubber laid down. At least more than anything, they've kind of cleared a path on the racing line, and Justin's waiting here for the whistle to blow for the 10-minute mark. And once he does, we'll start our countdown to green timer on the top right corner of the screen and send it down to Caleb Vieska. So Caleb, take it away.
Justin just gave me the signal to start, so we got 10 minutes to wrap all this up and talk to all of our drivers. We're going to start here with our rookie, Nix Eggleston. Nix, work your way over here. It's been a good day for you, but what did you learn about the shootout so far in this first session?
The track's a lot different compared with the all day, obviously. And all of these are the best drivers of the United States. So just my first shootout, and we'll see how it goes.
Any changes so far to your kart?
Not right now.
All right, well, best of luck, and I'll see you out there for your first heat race. We're going to go here next with Cameron Weinberg talking with Caleb Gaffera and a couple of other drivers. Cameron, a while since you've been out of the X30 seat and a while since you've been out of shootout contention. So how is it being here, and how was the track so far for the first session?
It was good for me. It's not that difficult. Most of the corners are the same, and it's really fast and flowy, which I like, and the concrete has a lot of grip. That time I was only a 10th off. Not everybody went out, but I mean, I made a few mistakes on my lap, so I think we probably have a good fight at getting the win.
Sounds good. Thank you. Best of luck, Cameron.
Thank you.
You guys heard from Cameron. Go back to some of the drivers who actually drove this layout a couple of years ago. Why don't we go talk to the race winner from 2021 in that layout, Paulie Massimino, who's around here somewhere with the BJR MDR crew, and they're actually hard at work right now. So we see this kart right here. That's Paulie. Brandon, what changes are you guys making up Paulie's go-kart?
Just doing a little gear change. We don't really know which way to go right now. I don't remember what we ran here 3-4 years ago. I didn't write it down, so just kind of guessed at it. We're going to try something for the first heat and see how it goes.
And you guys already have $4,000 from last night. How good would it feel to get it again here tonight?
I feel great to go 2 for 2 in the shootouts, and then hopefully double up tomorrow as well. That'd be a great $18,000 payday, and hopefully we can do it.
Sounds good. Well, best of luck, Brandon.
Thank you.
Now we move on here. Justin Ataconis, it's been a while, but you're back in shootout contention here this weekend. Back in the seat since Supernats all the way last year, and you see Dalton here messing around with you. How is it being back in a shootout? I know it's probably a lot more hectic than we were used to at Spec MX5.
Yeah, you know, this is so cool that they put out this event on for us. It's so cool to see everyone out here on the grid and just everyone working on the go-karts. It's so cool to see it. You know, it's my 3rd time in it, but every time it's just as cool.
Sounds good. Well, best of luck, Justin.
Thank you.
Why don't we take this chance to talk to some of the mechanics, some of the famous mechanics. Roman, any changes going on at Dalton's kart so far?
Nah, I think we're good.
Dalton?
I think we're just going to send it.
All right, just going to send it. Dalton, what do you have to say about the layout so far?
I like the layout. It's actually the best layout we probably could have done other than all the whole track in reverse. So I think it will be good. I mean, we're not changing anything. Just Shane Lubin, send it, like he said.
Shane Lubin, send it from Dalton Haynes. We'll see how he ends up playing out. The RPG boys with Hayden Jones and Ryan Norberg, they don't seem too busy, so we'll go talk to them. Ryan already spotted me. He's looking at me. So we'll go over here and talk to Ryan and Hayden. We'll get both of you boys at the same time. How'd you guys feel out there? How was it? How was the track?
I thought it was pretty good. Just bringing the tires in pretty slow, keeping them, you know, as good as I can for the next, 30, 40 laps. So I wasn't really pushing too much, just trying to figure it out as slow as I can.
Ryan?
Yeah, I think Hayden said it pretty well. I think everybody out there kind of had the same idea. I mean, I wouldn't take anything from that result as at face value, because I think, everybody's got something in the bag because we're all just kind of learning the track. I think everybody only did 5 laps, just enough to learn the track, do a kind of a push lap, a semi-push lap, and then, come in. So we'll see how the race goes. I mean, everybody, the way these games work, everybody plays games up until the very end.
And how do you feel about the throwback layout from 2021? You liking it, or are you wishing we had what we had last year?
No, I like it. I think it's a fun layout. I mean, I crashed out the last time. I crashed twice the last time I was on this layout. So, I mean, I hope that doesn't happen again. But I like this layout. It's a fun layout. It races, I think, the best of all the layouts we do. So, yeah, no, I think it's pretty good.
We heard that from Ryan. He's going to look not to crash out. Hayden, what's your plan going into this next race?
Not to crash out also.
Well, there you guys have it. RPG boys looking not to crash. Hopefully we're not jinxing any of them. Their teammate Kai Hunter right behind us here, so good to see him back out. There's also wedding celebrations going on out here, so that's pretty cool for the shootout, but a couple of interesting drivers as well out here. Brandon Carr, they're heavy at work. You see them hammering that axle, looking to kind of straighten it back out, and they seem busy, so we're not going to interrupt them, but they're hard at work here. They're trying to straighten out that axle. It seems like it was sliding a little bit, so that could be some issue with the set screws and whatnot, and checking that rear width, to say the least. So why don't we go over here and talk to rookie Carter McMurray on his first shootout so far. Carter, it's hectic. Your dad and Timmy working your go-kart. How has it been so far?
I honestly thought for warm-ups it felt pretty good. The stickers definitely helped with a lot of grip. I like the track though. It's old 8's definitely going to be a big passing zone, and looking forward to this first heat.
Yeah, and you've raced these guys already in normal racing action, but you're going to race them in shootout action. You know it's going to get hectic. What's the strategy?
Just put my head down and go.
All right, there you guys have it. Carter McMurray looking to put his head down and go. Frankie Mossman, Santi Fernandez. We have 3 Speed Concepts Racing drivers. Your fan vote winner, Santi. You actually came into the pit lane the wrong way, so walk me through that.
I just thought we were still doing the normal shit. Oh, my bad for the language. And yeah, I just pulled into the wrong part of the pit.
Well, there you have it. We'll bleep out definitely. Jackson Woney over here talking with his mechanic, Richie. We'll talk to him here. Jackson, your first shootout as well. We talked to Carter. We talked to Nix. How are you feeling for this shootout?
I'm feeling pretty confident in that practice. I was pretty quick, and I'm starting up front, so I think I'll be good.
All right, well, Jackson, another thing. How has it been racing these X30 senior drivers? We haven't talked to you all that much, but you've been just on the edge. You said you were on the edge. You got in by a promoter's pick, so what's it like racing against some of these guys that you've seen kind of grow up through the ranks?
I mean, it's really close. It's like everybody here is really good, so it's just really tough to race against them.
Well, best of luck, Jackson, on your first shootout.
Thank you.
We move on here. Frankie Mossman, not too far off. I just saw him. Frankie, work your way over here, dude. Have a little chat. We talked to you yesterday. You said you were feeling a little bit tired from both classes, but your second shootout already on the weekend. How you feeling? How are the ribs holding up?
No, I think I'm feeling great. This layout, I think, fits a lot more to what I'm suited for, and I think building up through the weekend after I kind of get a chance to mellow out, I mean, I think we're going to be fine, and the package is good. I've driven this layout before, I think 2 years ago, so we're really just going to try to fight for just some good starting position for the final, and then work our way up from there and hopefully avoid the chaos and take home some money.
And you're one of the only drivers that did one lap. You were one and done from that session. Your dad came up to me, and he was like, why did Frankie only do one lap? So why don't you tell us why you only did one lap?
I mean, I think the tire deg in the X30 has been a lot more significant than I've really seen since I've been racing, and just going to really prioritize taking home the money because, I mean, I don't think the heat races really matter. I don't think they're giving out a check. So that's my point.
There you have it. That was all that Frankie Mossman's looking forward to the money, and we'll see him back in a USF Pro 2000 car later on this year as well. And we move on. The SLA crew still working. Paulie actually finally worked his way back. Paulie, why don't you work your way up here with me, dude? You don't have a choice that now, but you already got $4,000 yesterday. I talked to Brandon. He said $18,000 over on the weekend would feel good. What are you looking forward to in the shootout? You got the win actually in 2021 as well, so a bit nostalgic, I should say.
Yeah, you know, we've been on this layout. I think we got a decent piece. Just trying a few different things and see how this first heat goes. Really, we don't really know what the pace is or what anybody else's pace is. Nobody really did that many laps to know what it truly is.
And yes, last night you counted yourself out too early, and you ended up coming out with it. You're going to count yourself early again just for that same superstition and luck?
We'll see how this first heat goes, and then I'll let you know from there.
All right, I'll talk to you then right after that first heat, Paulie. Best of luck. So 2-minute warning officially up in the air, and we look out at Justin. 2 minutes. 2 minutes from Justin Dittrich here officially. Jacob Kolar is further back here, and he was one of the drivers that was a favorite to get it done last year's shootout. So we'll wait for Jacob. His cart's already rolling in. Josh Holtz, one of the older guys in this field. Josh, work your way up here, big man. See how you're doing so far. You have a driver, Nick Terlecki. And we'll talk to your mechanic as well pretty soon, see what they changed. But it's been a wild weekend for you so far. It's been up and down. You've lacked a little bit of pace, but shootout racing for you going on now.
Yeah, a lot of down this weekend, honestly. I think we found some stuff in the engine the last couple of heat races, some carburetor issues, but can't thank Mario with Speed Lab enough for really helping out a lot. And I think we have it turned around, so hopefully we can find some pace in the shorter layout. And warm-up felt good. I only did a lap or two, so I think we have some pace for this one.
So where'd you pick your pill for this one?
I should be 6th for this heat and then 10th for the next one. So kind of a little bit in the dicey business, but we'll try and stay close and see what happens.
So the 1 minute warning in the air, I'll let you go and get ready to get out there. So Josh Hote's going to work his way up to the front of the grid, getting last little bits of advice from his young protege in Emerson Lane. But we're going to work our way up to the front of the grid. And with this being said, everybody getting suited and booted. So I'll let Xander and Alex take it away from here. What do you guys, boys?
Thank you, Caleb. It is going to be a super fun night of racing. Now, Alexander Searle is going to be down on the racetrack with actually one additional camera that we have not run with yet. Enzo Vidmontien is joining me here in the booth. Enzo, hot off of competing for the win in that X30 Junior Shootout this weekend. Obviously, both KA Junior, X30 Junior. Today, as these drivers are getting ready to go, can you first talk about, how quickly the track seemed to grip back up? Because AJ was saying, and a few other guys, that the warm-up was super, super slow compared to Thursday. And by the time we got to that last round of heat races, the track really took a lot of rubber.
Yeah, on the shootout, I went out and practiced. First lap, already so much grip. And on the race, just didn't get more grip, just stayed the same.
With the night racing compared to running during the day, any other noticeable changes for you of how the track kind of feels?
Not really, just a lot cooler for the body and the engine. But yeah.
Well, let's take you through the starting lineup, folks. We're ready to get after it for the MG Tires X30 Shootout. You can see the drivers are into their karts now, and from our live cam walking through the clear visors for many, where we get a close-up look right into the eyes and the minds of all of the 15 superstars. And how about this for Carter McMurray? Rookie senior driver. Enzo, you've been in his shoes at the Norberg Invitational earlier this year. Your first race up, and you're going in an all-star, non-points, throw it all on the line senior race. Carter's in the same boat here. What do you have to say to a driver like that? Or, what kind of mental place did you get to be so competitive?
It was a bit scary at first, going against all the seniors. But, yeah.
Well, you didn't have to draw a pill pick to lead them to green either, so I don't know if that would have made it probably more or less nervous when you got them bearing down. But we're going to get to watch as we've got McMurray on the pole alongside Jacob Kolar, the kid from Key West, is going to be joining him on row number 1 in that Vice Racing Kart Republic. Back on row number 2, it'll be the Speed Concepts Racing Red Speed for rookies down the inside of the first 2 rows, with Jackson Wolney on the inside of that second row of the grid. Beyond Jackson, you go to the outside of him, it'll be that BJR MDR entry of Justin Ataconis. He's drawn to go 4th in heat number 1. And again, this lineup will be completely inverted for heat number 2. You heard from Hayden Jones and Ryan Norberg. The goal is just not to crash through these heat races, survive to the feature. Hayden rolls off from 5th. He'll start alongside the Hotes DD Tony Kart of Josh Hotes on row number 3. The fan vote winner, Santi Fernandez, rolls off on the inside of his SCR Red Speed teammate, Frankie Mossman. And both of them, along with Ryan Norberg and Nick Eggleston, are kind of in a safe zone where they're starting middle of the pack both races. So a good or a bad result in either Heat 1 or Heat 2, or really to start Heat 1, you kind of go into Heat 2 going, okay, well, I'm not going all the way to the back. However, it's the invert for Cameron Weinberg and Brandon Carr going from row 6. Nick Terlecki and Paulie Massimino back on row 7. And Dalton Haynes is all on his lonesome in 15th on row number 8. But the SLA Car Racing Sodi Car driver will get that inside lane starting spot for the second heat race and lead us to green. And on the flip side, Carter McMurray on that Timmy Tech comp kart will go back to the rear of the field. Jacob Kolar will roll 14th. Jackson Wolney back from 13th. We'll put it on the box here. Heat number 1, X30 Senior, the MG Tires Shootout. $5,000 on the line. A couple of young bucks up front. Jacob Kolar in his 3rd season, although he graduated early to the pro ranks.
and Carter McMurray, only his second ever X30 Pro start, and he's going to be leading a field to green. We're underway here for the first heat of the shootout, and just like that, Jacob Kolar and Justin Adaconis are going to take the new kid to school. They'll go into first and second off the bat as they rocket down the back straightaway. Looks like most have gotten through clean, although Brandon Carr went out to the marbles in turn number 3 and lost a ton of time, and another driver just went wide there in the bowl. Not sure who we lost there going all the way to the rear, but quickly and trying to get away is the kid from Key West, Jacob Kolar, by about 4 car lengths. Leads us into the hairpin for the first time. And check out Ryan Norberg sending it on Nick Eggleston. And behind him, Fernandez, Dalton Haynes, Nick Terlecki colliding. So contact already as we get going here in heat number 1. And well, Enzo, one other moment I wanted to ask you a little bit as we watch these drivers head down the back straightaway through turn 3 to 4 is the marbling offline. Look at all of the dust and particles there. How much has that played a factor into the racing this year with the new tire, and especially here throughout the end of the day today?
Yeah, with the new tires, definitely more marbles in the outside part. Like last year, I could go around the outside to the bowl, like very clean and good. This year, I haven't tried a little bit more, but yeah.
Well, we've got them underway now, and we've got a lead change. Justin Adaconis has gone through to the point. Jacob Kolar back to second. And we've got a massive train of karts down that back straightaway. Check out the run here as well from the SCR Red Speeds. Jackson Wolney to the bottom side ahead of Frankie Mossman. They've got Norberg bearing down. How about Josh Holtz, the big guy down the inside there? The tallest driver in the field by about half a head right there, and he did not get through for the 6th spot, and he's going to get trained by about 4 or 5 karts. Nick Eggleston trying to hang on, and Carter McMurray took a whole lot of curve there. He nearly got sideways. Eggleston now to the outside. Fernandez is going to send Holtz through. And you can see Haynes and Weinberg are trapped back there as the main pack heads down the back straightaway to turn number 4. Challenge for P3, Jones, McMurray. Hayden Jones is through early on here in this opening heat race with the second group having one heck of a fight. But the leaders, I mean, this is one big train. And Justin Adaconis, after a full year out of the seat, Hayden Jones is going to take Jacob Kolar all the way to the weeds. Mossman as well is going to go wide with Norberg. That was a lot right there that just cost a lot of time in that infield hairpin. And just like that, Justin Adaconis, well, it looks a little bit like some of your KA Junior wins this year. Enzo, they start to fight behind you. You trigger it a little bit with some good strategy, and well, then you're off to hitting good laps.
Yeah. Just you need to make one mistake and it's over. And if you do your lap, you'll be gone.
Down the inside into the hairpin, Ryan Norberg was looking on Jacob Kolar. Behind him, Dalton Haynes has gone by on Santiago Fernandez. Big Sparks moment there from Jacob Kolar. Ryan Norberg right behind, looking to go by on the 305 machine. Norberg's up a handful of spots. Let's see if he goes right here. Turn 4, inside and clear. Flying Ryan is through there in the bowl. So 5 down, 5 laps to go. Justin Adaconis on his way to a heat race victory right now, as behind him, Carter McMurray is still trying to hang on strong from Hayden Jones for that 2nd spot. The Timmy Tech comp car driver, the pole sitter, knows he's going to go all the way to the back of the grid. In heat 2, he's trying to stay towards the front, get a good result in heat 1, and just kind of keep his nose clean when he gets to fight through the pack in that 2nd heat race. Big movers here early on. How about it for a 6 or couple spots up apiece for Frankie Mossman up 2, Norberg up 2, 5 spots up for Dalton Haynes, and as well, looks like about 3 up for Paulie Massimino from the rear of the field. They've still got work to do to get a decent result and a top starting spot in that feature, but if there's any race I'd probably want to start in the back for, it would be the opening heat on the night, as we see Santi going by on Nick Eggleston, because you know the field's only going to figure this track out more and more as the night goes on, whether it's gearing, whether it's setup, or whether it's driving. So, you know, if I have to start in the back, I'd rather do it earlier, Enzo, than towards the end of the night when everyone's figured out and had a little more time to go through data, go through sessions, and get quicker. For Justin Adaconis, this is a good one to at least punch through to the win if he can hang on to it. Because we're going to see 8 down, 2 laps to go, and he's getting hunted down right now by Carter McMurray and Hayden Jones. And Frankie Mossman just got passed by his teammate Jackson, or just got up to his teammate Jackson Wolney. They might be battling a little bit for position number 4. And here comes Mossman down the inside on the rookie. He'll go through.
Ryan Norberg closes on in there, back in that 6th position. Jacob Kolar looking on back in the 7th spot there as they roll through turn number 6 in the infield. And we'll head to the white flag this time. Enzo, looking good for Justin Ataconis. This group here, bit of a fight, kind of risk reward. You've got to be smart about this, right? You can't throw the race away.
Yeah, definitely just don't push that hard, and you got it.
Justin Ataconis' lead, still at 4/10 back to Carter McMurray. He can actually go a bit into tire conservation mode. If he just keeps it close, close enough but not too close. McMurray is within a car length now. They're going to head to that major brake zone, that final hairpin. Let's see if Ataconis leaves the door open. Final lap in heat number 1. McMurray is close. He'll stay behind there, and to the chicane we go, battling further back. Justin Ataconis, Heat 1 winner in the X30 Shootout. McMurray second, Jones third, Mossman, Wolney, and then Ryan Norberg able to hang on over Jacob Kolar for P6. Good drive forward for Cameron Weinberg. I think he might have been one of the biggest movers in that one. 2 spots gained. Ryan Norberg 2 up as well, 5 up for Dalton Haynes. And again, the bigger losers on it, unfortunately. Nick Eggleston faded back, Fernandez as well as Brandon Carr and Josh Host. We saw him, he was moving forward in the top 5 for a moment, and then ended up getting shuffled down to the wayside. So let's go again back through those results really quickly so you can see how the 15 ended up. Close towards the front, and a couple of fast karts, it looks like, in the 301 and the 348, I'd say, after heat number 1. But a lot can change. We learned that last night. We know there's more in store this evening. We're going to hear from the superstars as Caleb Viesca is headed down to pit lane. But before we do, let's go back to the Coastal Link Custom Printing Race recap and take a look at how we got here for heat number 1 in our MG Tires X30 Shootout. Again, Carter McMurray and Jacob Kolar on the front row leading us down to turn number 1. But Justin Ataconis and Kolar as well got that great leap on the outside lane to go into first and second. And you could see the field. There was looked like it might have been Nick Eggleston that was out in the marbles there. It looked like an all-black suit, but I don't want to be, assuming too much there. As for the rest of the pack, well, Hayden Jones didn't even want to crash. He kind of got tangled up there with Jacob Kolar, sent the 2 of them down the order, and that allowed Ryan Norberg to pick up a little bit, Frankie Mossman to move forward as well. And either way, though, Justin Ataconis survives it, keeps the nose clean, and gets a nice 0 on the points tally. That'll put him sadly back to the towards the rear of the field in the second heat race, but he won't start dead last. That'll be for Carter McMurray and Jacob Kolar. So a solid opening heat for Justin Ataconis, and we will re-rack them in about 10 minutes time. They've still got to get through the scales here first, but Caleb, we'll get ready to send it down to you for a quick bit of intel and your thoughts on that one. I know you were over keeping a close eye on all that transpired in that opening heat race of who looks strong to you. Well, who's your pick? Do you have one yet? Because it's still pretty early.
No, it's still, in my opinion, a little too early to start going with picks, but a lot of guys have been strong. Justin Ataconis, every time that he comes out here to the IAME Grand National Championships, he's been strong, and that race as well surprised me a lot. But I got to mention the rookies. Carter McMurray looked really strong at the end of that race. Obviously started on the pole on the inside, but it just got really argy-bargy throughout the race, and as it progressed, he found himself with some contact early on. Kolar got to lead early, but it was wild. Honestly, at the moment, Ataconis looks like one of my favorites personally, and a rookie as well. Looks to me like he can upset as well, but I mean, you can't forget, it's all going to switch around later on today. Paulie Massimino starting further up the grid, as well as a couple of other drivers. So I'm going to wait for Justin Dittrich. He's going to start the timer for us, and that's going to start our countdown to grid presented by Pride Racing Gear. So a couple of drivers coming by. Dalton, we'll come with you here real quick. You found yourself with a little bit of contact in that race. Walk me through it. You seem to be very, very sweaty here.
Yeah, twice on the first couple laps, someone was on top of me. So I was being as careful as possible, but it was hectic that first couple of laps. But we did good. The kart feels good. I feel good. The very last lap I had a gap, so I literally just let off going into each corner before I hit the brakes to just save some tire for the next heat race in the final, and I think we'll be pretty good.
Sounds good. Well, best of luck. And also, did you guys figure anything out about the racetrack? Did you guys change anything to your kart?
We didn't change anything between practice, and I think now we're going to change one thing, but it's not major. We're going to be fast. Starting on pole this time, so pretty excited to see what we can do.
Sounds good. Best of luck, Don.
Thank you.
So we move on as well. Paulie looks to be talking as well here with Brandon Jarsicrack and others. So we'll look to barge in here. Paulie, just a second if you have one. He's actually talking with Brandon here. And we'll let them chat just a little bit, and then we'll bring Paulie on over here. They're talking a little bit. Paulie, you started from the rear of that field. You're starting from the front for the next one. Did you figure anything out about that layout?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we had good pace. Tried to go for it around the outside in turn 4 on the start, and it was seeming to work. And then the last guy in the inside just kind of bulldozed everybody forward, so kind of kicked me out, got in the marbles, and was just trying to work my way forward from there.
So how are you guys feeling? I see you guys are changing some things here to your kart. What are you guys looking for more of going into the next one?
Yeah, just always trying to find more speed and see what happens. I think it felt like I had good pace. I don't really know. I haven't seen the times or anything, but yeah, we're going to try something different here for this next heat since we're starting up front, and we'll see how that goes.
Sounds good. Well, best of luck.
Thank you.
Go over here to Justin Ataconis. Justin, a very good start to your shootout so far. Walk me through that race. It looked like it was crazy from start to finish.
Yeah, just got a good start on the outside and just got behind Jacob and just kind of went up as soon as I could. Went up to the front and just stayed there, just try to learn about the go-kart, learn about the setup we got, and see what change we can make for the next one.
So what changes are you guys making for this next one? I know you're probably not going to tell me much, but what can you tell me?
I think it's just a gear change. I think that's about it. I think we got the go-kart pretty much hooked up, so just make a gear change. I think we'll be ready to rip.
Sounds good. Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll talk to the driver who is actually in the lead of the race here for a couple of moments. We'll talk to Jacob Kolar if we can find him. We're walking and talking here, boys. We're walking and talking. Jacob, you work your way over here, dude. Get in between our mic range. You were in the lead of that race for a couple of laps, but I guess it all fell through for you. What were you guys missing in that one?
I think it was just too low on the tire pressure, honestly. I mean, we were fast at the end. I just think the tire pressure in the beginning just made us have not enough bottom, and then just got passed from there.
And how was the racing out there? I know everybody's going for that $4,000. How are you feeling out there?
I was a little soft in the beginning, but I think I'll get better at the end.
Sounds good. Best of luck, Jacob.
Thank you.
We'll move over here to Nick Terlecki, a driver we haven't talked to all too much this weekend. But Nick, it's been so far so good for you. I know you got involved in a little incident there. Just walk me through it.
Yeah, I mean, I just went to the inside of someone, and then someone flew on the inside of me. And, I mean, I just ended up getting sandwiched and then bent my tie rod, so it was kind of hard to drive out there. But managed to get a couple more spots at the end. But now I'll start third, so hopefully we'll have a better heat.
Is that going to be an entire change to the tie rod, or you're just going to hammer it back to straighten it out?
Oh, I got a whole team working on it, so we'll get it fixed.
Sounds good. Well, best of luck, man.
Thanks.
You see the team already hard at work there. Josh working on Nick's kart. So this is pretty cool to see from Josh Holtz working on his driver's go-kart, driver and team owner. So good to see Josh hard at work. We'll leave them to continue here. And we'll talk to some more drivers, some that we haven't talked to so far. Brandon Carr, one of those that we haven't talked to. He was involved in that incident as well. So we'll go look for Brandon here shortly. He seems to be in this garage here. So we're going to walk and look for Brandon in here. And I think he is. We'll see if Brandon wants to give us a quick word. We'll walk in this garage, see if it works out. He's talking to his mechanic here, Tate, but we'll look at the cart, see what changes they're making. Looks like adjusting that rear width as well. And Shaston Johnson out here, you're actually just looking over. You're not working on all too many carts. Walk me through the shootout layout so far.
Okay, what do you want to know?
Just how it's going. Anyways, I got to move on. Brandon's here, so we'll move on to Brandon. Sorry, Shaston. Brandon, incidents for you in that race. Walk me through it.
Yeah, we just at the start we just got a little hit from behind, which sent me wide in turn 3, so that didn't help the situation. We had a little issue there, so we're gonna fix it with this one and go at it in this one.
And I saw you guys banging that axle as well before you went out after that warm-up session. What are you guys changing to your go-kart?
We're trying to change it, but there's not really enough time to get it, so we don't really want to miss a session. So if we have to, we're gonna have to. But at the minute, we're just gonna try and see if we can get it without doing too much traumatic.
Sounds good. Well, best of luck, Brandon.
Thank you.
There you guys have it from Brandon Carr. So you see the fans already going crazy for him. Let's talk to the RPG Cosmics as well. Hayden Jones was really quick, and their strategy going into it was not to crash, and both of them did just that. They didn't crash, so it's good. I don't want to jinx him either, so we'll talk to him here a little bit. Ryan and Hayden, how are you boys doing? It's going good. Ryan, you're shaking your head here like you don't want to talk to me, dude. We're good friends. We can talk, right?
We've had so many conversations.
Hey, we're having one more now. How's it going, dude? Your strategy into it was keeping it clean. You kept it clean. You and Hayden were working quick.
Yeah, we were quick. I think it's just, you got to be aggressive on the starts. That's the one we started a little further back. I mean, we're kind of in the same spot for both the starts, but now we're on the outside. So hopefully, we just got to make it through one and then go back and attack again. I mean, we just got to keep using these as test sessions, and just try to learn as much as we can.
And where's Big Mike right now? Is he looking on over you guys, or he's in there? We'll see if we can talk to Big Mike here in a couple of moments. We'll see. He looks locked in, so we'll leave him to it here. But everybody hard at work. Hayden over there cooling off and sitting down. The mechanics as well hard on work on Hayden's go-kart at the moment, and Ryan's as well. It looks like they're making some changes. Could be a gear change. I see that sprocket guard is off. And Ryan, I guess he doesn't want to have many conversations with me here, Xander. He was saying, like, getting tired of us or something. We all love us, so we're going to walk back here to the back of the grid here in a couple of moments. Carter McMurray, that rookie, I talked to you. That was one of my picks coming into this one. We'll see Carter. We just made eye contact. So, Carter, why don't you work your way over here, dude? That was a pretty good session.
Don't worry.
Finishing second. Just walk me through it.
I got a lot of love for you, Caleb. You're good.
I just heard you, Xander, and I got a lot of love for this guy, Carter McMurray. Walk me through that race there, Carter.
Had a very shaky start, I'd say. The motor didn't accelerate, but got to third, and then just kind of trying to get by them. And then Hayden got by me, and then he and Kolar, I think, they both had an incident. Got by the both of them and got out in front, and really, I felt like I drove really well. This kart was handled amazing with Timmy Tech. And I was just trying to get to Justin and just didn't have enough laps, and maybe one or two more I maybe could have passed him.
And walk me through that start as well. You were starting on the inside, but you saw Jacob was able to get it done around the outside. What are you going to change for the next one? I know you're starting at the rear of the field this time.
Just try to have the motor cleaned out and just not try to get any incidents will definitely help.
Sounds good. Best of luck, Carter.
You too. Thanks.
Well, there you have it. Carter McMurray, nice guy. He didn't break my heart. He kept it in pieces because Ryan broke my heart, unfortunately. There's Xander. Good thing you still love me, so that's a good thing, and I appreciate you for that. And I guess you have to because I am your employee. So anyways, we move on to the rest of the field, and you have Nick Terlecki back here. Frankie Mossman out here talking with his teammates. Jackson, that was a crazy race. Frankie, that was a crazy one for you as well. Walk me through it, boys. A lot of passes being made in that one.
I was just trying to stay up front the whole time, yeah.
So a lot of blocking going on, or what was going
on? I mean, yeah, in the beginning part of the race, there was a lot of blocking, but when it spread out, it was pretty calm, I thought.
All right, well, there you have it from Jackson. Frankie, you're next. Ribs holding up fine. You said it was going good, and the speed was going good as well, living up to the name for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I was really confident with the package that we had, and I mean, the first lap that we put it out in warm-up, I knew it was right, and I mean, it definitely showed there, and I had a lot of people kind of be a little bit doubtful of our planning, but I mean, it really did show, so we're just going to try to gain more spots with the invert and just keep moving up from there and hopefully start pull for the final.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, looks like you guys aren't changing too much. How'd your go-kart feel out there? How'd that layout feel for you as well?
Yeah, it felt great. I think the team definitely knows what the right direction is. It definitely benefits having 3 drivers out there with us. Jackson was quick. It was good to have him along, and just we're all just trying to minimize mistakes because really at this level, that's what it really takes.
Well, best of luck there, Frankie. And you look pretty sweaty. I'm sweaty as well. I'm just walking the grid, so I can't imagine how you guys feel.
Yeah, I mean, my dad's trying to get me some cold packs because it's getting really hot, but I'm not up for it yet.
Hey, be a man, dude. Be a man. Get to it. So there you guys have it from Frankie Mossman. Work on. Cameron Weinberg looking on as well. Cameron, you saw me, dude. Get over here. Get over here. Cameron, it was a gnarly race for you as well, having to work your way through that field. Just walk me through how it went for you.
It was good. I had a pretty good start. I tried to make a pass on the inside of the tightest corner on the track when somebody was blocking. Didn't work out in my favor, but, I mean, that's the things you got to do for this kind of money. So I had to send it. We were like half a tenth off the fastest lap, so I got to start up front now, so hopefully we can go win this one.
So I guess what's the strategy going into the next one? Because I know it's going to be as difficult as that first one.
Probably, because everybody's making up for what they did last time, so we'll see.
All right, well, there you have it. Best of luck to you, Cameron. Best of luck to your team as well. So we'll let you go.
Thank you.
There you guys have it from Cameron Weinberg. And I tell you, these guys are absolute superstars. I'm just walking up and down this grid, and I'm sweating bullets at the moment, Xander. You guys are in that AC room, so we'll send it back up to you guys. We're at the 1-minute warning now. Back to you guys in the booth.
I don't think the AC comment was necessary, Caleb, but we'll take over here for heat number 2 and for the feature. I've got a new co-host joining me, Peyton Phillips. Peyton, we were just talking as you joined me here in the booth. First, thanks for coming in to join us on commentary, but last night you were able to make it into the KA Shootout off a promoter pick. You got to run through the event. You got to have some big moments, but talk about what the experience is like from a driver and how you prep as a team. Obviously, Ryan Perry Motorsport, they've been a part of this event since the beginning. They won the X30 Shootout in 2021 with Paulie, but what's that like from a driver's point of view to have these quick rack 'em up, pill pick, and then feature races for money?
Well, I've watched it the past 2 years, and it's always been fun. You see how hectic it is. You see how crazy it all is in terms of racing and all that. But just to be in it last night was totally different. And to be fair to Ryan Perry, I've never seen a team so organized for such a chaotic event. He had everything set up. We knew exactly what we needed to do. Just a bit unlucky that it dried out, and we knew that we didn't have our best engine on, so we couldn't really fight for it. But it's something I'll never forget, and hopefully get a chance to do it next year.
Well, we get to watch the driver that was able to make the most of last night roll from the front of the grid here. Paulie Massimino, hot off that $4,000 payday last night, trying to add a few more zeros to it tonight. And he's got another shot for more money tomorrow afternoon in the mains as well. He's been super, super quick in the dry. Was so-so in the wet through the night, but man, did he turn up the wick by that last session. And really, that's all that counts. These heat races here, you get somewhat of a gauge, but especially some of the drivers that have been a part of these shootouts before, Peyton, we've seen the winner not necessarily set the world on fire in the heat races. It's kind of like how some of the drivers and mechanics are superstitious almost about not putting the transponder on till absolutely necessary, not showing your hand as if it's in poker. So I wouldn't be surprised if, we don't see Justin Ataconis on top of the step. We don't see whoever wins this heat on top of the step, because it could come from a driver that just rides under the radar, sits in 4th or 5th, and gets the job done. Either way, though, we're going to get to see another heat race here, another winner, another step closer towards figuring out who that driver could be. Caleb said one of its picks could be Carter McMurray. You brought up one other interesting point here. Brandon Carr is having some mechanical struggles, and not in the most traditional way. Peyton, describe a little bit of what he's dealing with on that TKG Kart Republic.
Well, after the first warm-up, I was standing next to his car, and I could see his mechanic. They were trying to get the axle out, and he broke the hammer. So looks like they got it all sorted now, and good to see him back on track, and hopefully he has a much better heat than the last one.
Let's take a look at how the grid will show for heat number 2. Again, folks, this is a complete invert from that first heat race. So while Dalton Haynes and Paulie Massimino started 15th and 14th in heat 1, they get to make up the front row in heat number 2. Nick Terlecki starts on the inside, and Brandon Carr is on track, and he's able to make it out on some axle, whether it's the original one or if they were able to make a change from the outside of row number 2. Cameron Weinberg and Nick Eggleston on row 3, their first X30 starts. Cameron's first in a while. Nick's first ever. Ryan Norberg right behind them, along with Frankie Mossman, the two fastest drivers it looked like in that first heat race. I would say back on row 4, Santi Fernandez and Josh Holtz, Hayden Jones, Justin Ataconis, the heat 1 winner, Jackson Wolney, Jacob Kolar, and then Carter McMurray will line it up in that order back to 15th. So Dalton Haynes and Paulie Massimino picked up a couple of spots in that opening heat race. They didn't necessarily get a ton, though, and you can see they are slowly getting ready to form up here. Did it feel any bit more nerve-wracking, more fun? Did it almost feel surreal how quickly you're shooting back up on the pace laps? I know for a lot of drivers, the nerves go away when you hit the gas pedal, but right here when you're going slow and the adrenaline's slowing down, what did it feel like last night, Peyton?
Honestly, the adrenaline never went down. We were always working, trying to get stuff on the chassis right, on the gearing. So in terms of a mental focus, it was probably the most focused I've ever been in my life. And yeah, here we go. Let's see what they have coming to the green.
Yeah, they're going to need to be focused right now. So let's get ready. Dalton Haynes on the inside, and that red and orange and black Sodi leads us, and we're underway for heat number 2. Dalton Haynes going to slide up in front of Paulie Massimino, and that will get both of them safely through to turn number 3. Nick Terlecki into 3rd. Ryan Norberg into 5th right now, right behind Cameron Weinberg. And we've at least made it through the first half a lap of both heat races without any incidents so far as they charge towards turn number 5, that left 90-degree corner, and into turn number 6. And this major brake zone here, turn 7 at the kink, and turn 8, that infield hairpin. All of the drivers through the first 9 spots or so defending down the inside, and we're 1 lap complete now into the 10 in total. We got a new leader, Paulie, to the point up the hill to turn number 3.
Yeah, and you can see Nick Terlecki just waiting there because he knows this is going to be a dogfight. It's only the second heat as you see Norberg goes down to the bottom on, I believe that was Weinberg. And Weinberg's been fast. He knows he has to fight for it. He maybe not have the outright pace to keep up with these guys, but we know he can race his way to the front.
And they've got to be smart too, right? You don't want to get trapped further back by some of the drivers in that massive scrum behind, because look at this. Hayden Jones into the right rear tire as Santi Fernandez there in the hairpin trying to get by the fan vote winner. Fernandez did not have a good heat. to start the night, so he's trying to get every position he can. And again, we've got one more off. Carter McMurray dirt tracking it up the hill to turn number 3. Big sideways moment for Carter as the field heads down to turn number 4 with that inside shot. Nick Eggleston, Frankie Mossman battling with Brandon Carr. He's gone backwards in a hurry here from 4th on the grid back to P8, while the front row still stay in the top 2 spots. Massimino, Haynes, Terlecki, Norberg, and Cameron Weinberg, the top 5. But they're tightening up a little bit here as we put 3 in the books and 7 laps to go right now. This super fast layout, but it's kept them close and together right now.
Yeah, and then on an update on Justin Anaconis, he's only made up really 1 position. He's in the 13th. It's maybe not enough to get the pole for the final, but as long as he keeps his nose clean, we know there's probably going to be a lot more fighting, and hopefully everyone keeps it on track and it's a good fight. As we see Norberg down the inside on Nick Terlecki, that's an important move for him. Not the best first heat. It wasn't terrible by any means for him, but we know where Ryan Norberg belongs at the front, and let's see if he can put that RPG in the top 2.
You talk about belonging at the front. Ryan Norberg is looking sorely for some momentum. This has not been a weekend so far up to par for the 9-time Pro Division champ. He has been just barely inside the top 10 throughout the heat races and hasn't really been able to recover from a close qualifying session, but one that did not see him inside the top 5. If he could get a big win tonight, a big payday, that might help the mojo to run to the front tomorrow as we see Haynes go through to the lead. And at the halfway mark, we got to change to go back to the original lineup for the top 2 spots. And Flying Ryan now up a net gain of 4. Hayden Jones, his teammate, up 5. The RPG Cosmics flying, and he's going to send Paulie Massimino through to the lead. I think he was hoping he could follow. Dalton Haynes was quick to kind of crowd it down and make it so Ryan couldn't get through. And we're stacking him up now, headed to the line to see 4 to go. Cameron Weinberg stuffing on the inside of Nick Terlecki. Check it out, it is really backing up here. We're about 7 deep for the lead pack, Peyton. And at this point, if you're anywhere other than the top 2 spots, it can be really, really treacherous to just keep it from getting run over or running over the guy in front of you.
Yeah, you see Dalton right there pointing forward to Paulie, but if I'm anyone who wants to be in a good spot, I think it is Cameron Weinberg. He knows what he needs to do. He knows he needs to take these spots. They're surely going to race. You see Paulie go to the bottom, and look at him. He's already on the back of Norberg. Oh, a little mistake out of the corner. You could see the bumper maybe he's already pushed in, but we'll see what happens. To the bottom.
Hayden Jones really sent it down the inside there with help from Santi Fernandez. And as they all get through the chicane, now Nick Eggleston's going to go to the inside. He'll get through on Santi. And next up will be fast Frankie Mossman to try and move forward. Ataconis, another spot up. Justin Ataconis calculated right now, just picking him apart. Again, he's already got that heat win. If he gets up 1 or 2 more, he'll at least start what we believe to be probably the first couple of rows. And oh no, Carter McMurray off again, this time in turn 4 in the outside of the bowl as the leaders go to the hairpin. Paulie's just parking the bus down low, and that is going to allow Justin to maybe pick up some more pieces here with 2 laps remaining. Look how close the whole field is. Norberg even with a little fade low of his own there for P3.
Yeah, as we head up the hill, can he maybe get to the bottom? Let's see what the Massimino, he goes all the way to the bottom. Haynes around the outside, can he make it stick? No. Back in the second he goes. Here comes Norberg. What can he do? He's been waiting. What about Cameron Weinberg? As you can just see, they all stack up, and there's not really much you can do in that corner. But around the outside goes Nick Terlecki. Surely he's going to get run off the track. Here comes Jones. Can he find a gap? He's going to look for it. Nothing there for him.
All of them stacked on the bottom. There is just nowhere to go right now. Paulie has him in a low line fest here. Haynes going to block low from Norberg for P2, and that's going to give Paulie a bit of a gap. Massimino now up by about half a second through turn number 3 as they rocket down the back straightaway, and Dalton's going to go right down to the grass to try and hold position. This could be a little bit of what we might be in store for in that main, and when it's this close and there's that many karts together, it's a ticking time bomb, and I just hope they can all survive the turn 6 section into the hairpin for the last time in heat number 2. It's close, but I think we're going to end up okay. Massimino, heat 2 winner. Haynes, Norberg, and Weinberg, your top 5 over with Nick Terlecki there in position number 5, but a close one down to the checkers. and we'll send them into the pit lane. It was hard, probably. Again, I mentioned to Enzo in calling that kind of primary race, the first heat on the night. If there's any heat I'd want to start from the back end, Peyton, it'd be the heat number 1. The later in the night, this one here, you saw Justin Anaconis. There was nowhere for him to go because the drivers had another session to figure it out on the setup, on the engine, on the gear, and most importantly, how to race this new track layout, which only about a third of the field have experience in. So that was a quick one. Another 10-lap heat in the books. Peyton, let's take our field and our viewers back through this Coastal Link custom printing race recap. Once again, Dalton Haynes on the inside, Paulie Massimino on the outside. A pretty even start compared to heat number 1, and Dalton was quick to make sure he would not get done around the outside like Carter McMurray did at the start of the first heat. So unfortunately, it didn't hold for long. Paulie went back to the lead there down at turn number 1. And Ryan Norberg started to do, well, Ryan Norberg things, get himself up and into the top 5. And he just really had to kind of halt there and hold on to the brakes because it became just a Dalton versus Paulie defend, pass show, and eventually just ended there. So that right there, I think, is why, again, he's got as many championships as he has, because you had to race that race more like a points race. Take what it'll give you. Don't throw it away going for second. If all you can do is third safely, take the third and move on here to the next heat race.
Yeah, for sure. There's no money up for grabs right now. Everyone's just trying to survive for the final. That's all that it comes down to at the end of the day. Make sure you finish the heats good, and then we'll have a good fight in the final.
We're going to send it on down to Caleb Vieska. He got a bird's eye view of all that went down in that one. One more time again through the results sheet here. Paulie Massimino, Dalton Haynes, Ryan Norberg, Cameron Weinberg, and Nick Terlecki, the top 5 after heat number 2. Across the line again, all results provisional, and it looks like based on the live timing, no penalties assessed either. Through Jones, Eggleston, Fernandez, Frankie Mossman, and again, Justin Anaconis, a win and a 10th. Massimino had about the same. It was tough to make forward progress starting that far back. So I'm really curious how the points are going to shake out for this main, because I think the grid's going to be really close, and that one spot that you went for or didn't might make the difference of 1 or 2 positions. Let's find out. Let's hear from the drivers' thoughts after 2 heats in the books here with our pit lane reporter, Caleb.
Clements, and that was indeed a very, very wild second heat race. A couple of drivers made up a couple of spots. Ryan Norberg made up 4. Unfortunately, me and him broke up after the last interview that I had with him. So we'll talk to my other and my new favorite RPG driver in Hayden Jones. So let's walk our way up to the front of the grid here as they're all getting to work. And before, though, we're going to make a pit stop here with Mr. Brandon Jarsicrack. The biggest change that I noticed was the cadet helmet for Paulie. Walk me through that.
Oh, yeah. I think he thinks it's a good luck charm from last night. I don't know. He likes us looking at his eyes while he's out there or something like that. But I wish he'd put his other one on because it looks a lot better. But it's rolling for now, so hopefully we can roll like that into the final.
All right, thank you very much. We'll talk to the driver now. Paulie, last one. I know the nerves are definitely high. You had a really good end to that heat race and looking to repeat from the success you had last night and in 2021.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. Just trying to see where we start to try and gauge what's going on. But, I mean, I think regardless, it's going to be a dog's fight, kind of like the end of that race. You know, I kind of started blocking a little early, but I just saw a big group behind me, so I figured if I don't start blocking, I'm probably going to get past, and then that'll probably be it for me.
And lastly, walk me through the cadet helmet here. You have your other helmet, your nice painted helmet, but a little bit of a throwback to when you were in your cadet days and junior days. Walk me through that helmet choice for the night.
To be honest, I'm just too lazy to switch my other helmet to the clear visor. Yeah, that's about it.
Well, there you guys have it. Short words. Paulie Massimino looking as excited as ever. So we'll give the best of luck here to Paulie. Justin just came in, and I overheard him saying they need to change their gear a little bit. So that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to change their gear. And you look on as they wait to touch the karts again. The 10-minute mark hasn't started yet, but Justin, we'll talk to you here shortly. Ms. Kendall Hedge, we're on your left now. The whistle has blown, so the 10 minutes are starting now. Justin, you just came in and said you're missing a little bit on gear. Walk me through it.
Yeah, so I told you last time we're going to let it rip on that new gear, and it did not rip. So we're going to go back to what we had, and hopefully it should be good there.
So hopefully you're going to get ripping this next one, huh?
That's the plan.
All right, so Justin Adaconis was ripping in the first one, not ripping in the second one, looking to go back and rip in the main event. So there you have it. A little bit of a tongue twister there for me. Rip, 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 and yeah, we're going to continue to work our way through this grid. We're going to look to talk to Hayden Jones, my new favorite RPG driver, because me and Ryan are not on speaking terms anymore. We'll see if we can get a word with Hayden. He looks to be going over that race there with Kai Hunter and Ryan. Hayden, can we get a quick word with you, buddy? If we can't. Ryan, no, not you. I'm not talking to you anymore, dude. We're done after that last station. Hayden, we'll talk about that one. You did a really good one. We're not talking to that guy behind us. We don't like him anymore. He has nice eyes, though, I must say. They're both different colors. But Hayden, both blue eyes, same color eyes for you. Walk me through that race.
Good start. Inside row got a good start, and then just trying to pick people off, but everyone starts blocking and there's nowhere to go, so you just have to follow. And it's pretty difficult to make your way forward once everyone starts blocking, so who knows what it's going to be like.
And lastly, why do you think Ryan doesn't want to talk to me anymore, dude?
Ryan just doesn't like anyone.
Well, he doesn't like me either. We'll let Hayden go. Good luck and best of luck there. So there you guys have it. Ryan doesn't like me, so whatever. I like him, though. He has nice eyes, like I said earlier. And we'll walk through here. Wedding celebration still going on. We'll talk to a couple of more drivers. The Speed Concepts team is very, very hard at work nonetheless, and we'll see how they're feeling. They're actually looking over data now. I'm not going to give any of that away to our viewers, but we'll talk to head mechanic here, Richie. Richie, what are some of the changes that you guys are looking to make here to these go-karts?
Possibly looking at a gear change. Besides that, that's it.
Well, there you guys have it. Just a gear change here on Jackson Woney's go-kart, and for the rest as well, making some minor changes as well. We'll talk to a couple of other mechanics. Sean Bailiff getting in on the action here. Sean, what are some of the changes that you guys are making to Brandon's kart?
We're just checking things over, just make sure it's right. Obviously, we don't have the speed right now, so we need to figure something out for this final where we're starting for sure.
And I know you guys were having an issue with that rear axle as well. What's the update on that?
We got what we got on the axle. We couldn't get anything done on that. Hey, that's overflapping. So carburetor's overflapping a little bit, so we're gonna fix that and see what we can do in the final here.
Sounds good. Well, best of luck, Sean.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys heard from Sean Bailiff, Brandon Carr getting his hands dirty, getting well into the work here. You see him adjusting on that carburetor. So we're gonna work our way back here again on the back of the grid. We'll talk to some of the rookies who had some issues. Again, one thing that I'm noticing here, Carter McMurray's station is right here, and we aren't seeing him. So Carter McMurray not here at the moment, the rookie and the Timmy Tech Comcart team. I don't want to see them, end that. That was one of my picks coming into this one, but he did find himself in the grass with some damage, and I think they're giving me signals that they're further up. So we'll see how it turns out for them, but we'll talk to the rookie, Nick Eggleston here next. He found himself with a lot of issues in that one. He's in the pit? Okay, so I just got confirmation that Carter McMurray's in the pit. Nix, work your way up here, man. That race was crazy for you. You're one of the youngest drivers in that field. Just walk me through how it went for you.
It went all right. The start wasn't great. Got shuffled into the marbles, then just tried to work my way up, made a couple of mistakes. Then at the end, just trying to be there. But everyone's defending really hard, so.
This is your last shot, I guess, for the money here. And what's your strategy going into that main event? I know it's going to be definitely very rough for you.
Yeah, just try not to crash on first lap, right? Then just try to get a good start, be there at the end.
Sounds good. Best of luck, Nick.
Thank you, sir.
There you guys have it, the youngest driver on our grid now. We're going to look back here. Jacob Kolar as well, getting his hands into his go-kart. Everybody very, very hard at work. You take a look here at Jacob and that entire team working hard. We'll talk to we won't talk to Jacob here. They're refueling, and I believe a gear change for him as well. We'll talk to some more of the mechanics. Mr. Paco here, how are you guys doing? What changes are we making to Nick or Josh's carts?
Small front end change, that's it.
Small front end change, that's all Mr. Josh Holtz needs. Team owner and I guess driver here this weekend, Nick Terlecki as well. He had a very, very rough race. Nick, we'll bring you out here, dude. We talked to you before the first one. You had a very good heat, to say the least, but walk me through that race. It looked like it was crazy. You were, getting creative around the outside and on the inside. Walk me through it.
Yeah, everyone's just here for every last position, which, I'm not being aggressive. So, everyone's just hitting each other. So, definitely it's going to be, now that there's 5,000 on the line for, first, everyone's going to be, just hitting everyone. So it should be a ride.
And I know there was some changes going on at Josh's kart, a front end change for him. Any changes for you?
Yeah, just a minor one.
You're not going to say?
No.
Well, there you have it. Nick Terlecki, not going to say what changes he's making, but hoping to look faster, looking at that Micron data as well. And we continue to work our way back here. Mr. Sporowski's here as well, North Carolina native. Good to see him out here. Ex-teammate of mine, but you see it at the time starting to run down as well. We'll talk to Santi Fernandez out here as well. Santi, you were the fan favorite coming into this one, and that race looked very, very rough for you. Like you were getting thrown around just a little bit.
Yeah, it was just a tough race, just getting thrown around. Got a good start. It just kept the guy in front of me kept on blocking, even though everyone else was fighting in the front. Just gotta get in the final now.
What do you feel like you're missing going into the main event?
Just missing some driving right here. But I'm gonna just try to cause chaos right now. That's why the fans voted me.
All right, well, there you guys have it from Santi Fernandez. We'll call him Mr. Chaos over there. And we'll work over here to Dalton Haynes. Hopefully he's around. He had a good heat race as well, had a block in the end to hold on to his position. And is he out on the racetrack now? Oh, he's right there. Dalton, work your way up here, dude. Get up here, and we'll talk to his brother Roman as well. They don't seem to be making many changes, but a P2 finish for you nonetheless. How'd it go for you, and what do you feel like you're missing?
I really don't feel like I'm missing much. Paulie got me a little out of the slowest corner, so we're going to make a little change on that. But other than that, I felt really good. Like I said earlier in the weekend, I'm just going to take this weekend cool as a cucumber, you know. There's no point in getting super stressed out. We got a 2nd and a 9th, started last in the first one, finished 9th, and then got a 2nd in this one, started 1st. So I should be in the top 5, I think, for the final. And yeah, I'm just going to, if I start 7th, I start 7th. If I start 3rd, I start 3rd. No matter what, I'm going to be calm and just go out there and do my best.
Sounds good. Best of luck, Dalton.
Thank you.
There you guys have it. Dalton Haynes out here. Dalton Hannibal Haynes, I should say. I know he doesn't like when I say that. He's looking at me now. But we continue to work our way through, and we look for more drivers. Ryan's right behind me, but we're still not talking to him. Still very mad at him there. And you see him there. He's looking at me, but we're going to let him stay focused on his task at hand, and we continue to move on here. See who else is out here. Eli, I'll talk to you here just for a second. You're not in the shootout, but who's your pick going into this main event?
I think Hayden Jones is going to win. I mean, he's been fast. He's done good in both heats. I haven't been really paying attention. I've been focused on Carter, actually, but I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be a race like we saw in Heat 2. It's probably going to be a big pack, but Paulie made defending look pretty easy, and then he got away. So I think Hayden's on pole. I think he got like 1st. Yeah, I don't know. He was up front in both, so I think he's going to be on pole. So I think it's going to be similar to Heat 2, but I think someone's going to get away because they're going to go side by side through the chicane, and I think that's how the race is going to end.
All right, well, there you guys have it from 1K driver. James Overbeck right here as well. I think I know the answer to this question already, but who's your pick going into this main event?
Paulie Massimino or Justin Atacanas.
I could have spoiled the news for you guys there. Thank you very much for your intel, James. I appreciate it. You guys have from James Overbeck, who was in the shootout yesterday. Engine starting to fire. We're getting set to go, Xander. So with this time, I'm not sure how much time we have left. If you guys can intel me on that. So we have 2 minutes left. Just got confirmation in my ears as everybody else looking to work their way through. We'll talk to Paulie's dad here, Paul Massimino. We'll talk to you real quick. Sure. Already some money in the pocket for you guys. And how are you feeling coming into this?
The kid.
Okay. So for Paulie, but how are you feeling for this main event? What do you advice, I guess, are you telling Paulie? I know you're not working over there on the go-kart.
I'm just telling him, go out and have fun. No pressure. We won one last night. We already won one in 2021. Let's just go have a good time.
Have a good time there. Thank you very much.
Have a good time. Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We're having a good time here as well. Everybody getting suited and booted, so we'll continue to work our way through. The RPG mechanics getting ready to push their last go-karts out onto the racetrack. So with that being said, Xander, that's pretty much it, and that's all we got here. We'll catch back up and come back here at trackside when this race gets wrapped up. So I'll send it back up to you, Xander, and that was it, I guess, for our hot pit sessions. Back to you guys up in the booth.
Yeah, as you can tell, Caleb, we're a minute away, and the grid is still being calculated. So we've got a few more moments here. We're going to take this as our final chance to step away and step aside to hear from our partners. When we return, it will be time to go green. $5,000 on the line for the MG Tires X30 Shootout. And we'll get you the starting lineup when we see you on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
Massive turnouts, world-class venues, and an awesome family-friendly atmosphere. All of these and more are pillars of the U.S. Pro Kart Series, which is gearing up for its biggest season yet in 2023. Orlando, Houston, Newcastle, Cincinnati, and Mooresville. Welcome to the top level of North American karting. Welcome to the U.S. Pro Kart Series.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200 from Acceleration Kart Racing's website?
That's because AKR gives you free shipping on orders of $200 or more within the continental U.S.
Okay, but I thought you were just getting a pair of gloves. That's what, 70 bucks?
But if I'm getting a new pair of gloves, I might as well get a new pair of shoes to match. And then on top of that, I'll get a neck brace because with the shipping, it's basically free.
Yeah, I do not think the math checks out on that.
everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free for orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Spend responsibly. Shop AKR.com.
Are you looking for an advantage in your competition? Well, Car Class has done the hard work for you. We've traveled to your racetracks to give you the inside knowledge. So what does Car Class offer? We've got drone footage that captures the racing lines, visual markers for your braking points, acceleration zones, and the best overtake opportunities on your racetrack. Pedal cam to show you where to brake and when to accelerate, and 360-degree footage to make sure you don't miss any parts on the racetrack. We've covered 13 racetracks in the United States, and Australia, you're up next. So visit carclass.com to get your track information.
USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parolin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParolinUSA.com.
Welcome back here, folks, to the IAME USA Grand National Championship MG Tires X30 Shootout. You can see the activity on the grid is slowly coming into place right now. They're just trying to get the last couple of calculations done and drivers into their correct spots. We do have the provisional grid with the heats all concluded now. Hayden Jones and Ryan Norberg, as mentioned by Eli Warren. A nice call by Eli. I'm not surprised at all. His dad, Keith, was a huge help in tallying the fan vote for both nights of action. Chip off the old block there. Eli Warren had the mental math correct. Hayden Jones and Ryan Norberg, by the provisional calculations, will be the front row. Justin Ataconis will be starting on the inside of row 2. Paulie Massimino will join him off a tiebreaker on points with Dalton Haynes. So Paulie to the outside of row 2. Dalton Haynes will start on the inside of row 3. There you see the grid marshal giving the info to the drivers. Row 3 again, Dalton Haynes on the inside in 5th. Fast Frankie Mossman by himself on the point total puts him 6th. He went a 4-3 run through the a total of 10 points over his heats. Carter McMurray and Nick Terlecki, and then on down through the X30 Shootout grid. The last couple will have tallied on the points here in just a moment for you to be able to see the rest of the starting lineup for our X30 Shootout. But that's at least the first couple of rows, and I believe we should have the rest ready to go. Now, this race pays $5,000 to win. We've had 3 iterations over the years, 3 different track layouts. This is the first time we're going back to the original one, and we've had a number of different winners. First and foremost, of course, we had Paulie Massimino in spectacular fashion win that inaugural event in 2021. He got $5,000. Back then, it was his first major win on the X30 Pro and national scene. Since then, he's gone back to victory lane earlier this year. He'd love to be the first driver to win both an X30 Pro Shootout and hot off his KA Shootout win last night, to not only sweep it in one weekend, but the first driver to win in both events. He's already got that. Now can he get 2 titles over the course of 2 days? Ryan Norberg won it in dominant fashion in 2022, and as you can see, he rolls off on the outside of that front row. And Joe Turney will be rolling out on the from, unfortunately, the couch this weekend. We'd love to have JT over here. He was the winner from last year's X30 Shootout in the rain. He put on a clinic and dominated that event, had the biggest payday, the biggest total purse haul out of all drivers at the IAME Grand National Championship. So 3 years, 3 different winners. We've got a pretty high odds, I would say, of a repeat winner for the first time in this shootout, with Paulie Massimino, the 2021 winner, rolling from the outside of row 2. Ryan Norberg, the 2022 winner, rolling out from the outside of row number 1. Hayden Jones would love to be a first-time winner. He's been close at this event before. Frankie Mossman in his substitute, a super sub role with Speed Concepts Racing. Austin Garrison watching along at home. He's actually not home, I should say, off at his best friend's wedding up north. We want to wish well wishes to Zach and Jennifer on their wedding this weekend. We miss you, Austin. I know you're watching along, and Frankie's done one heck of a job getting that black, white, and red speed towards the front of the field again, and he rolls off from the outside of row number 3 here alongside Dalton Haynes, who had that win in the overall last year. He's already got himself some cash this weekend with a podium last night. Can he add to that total here tonight as he rolls from position number 5? Let's go further back on the grid there to row number 4 and take another look deeper on into the rest of the drivers. How about Nick Terlecki? We saw him in a bit of chaos throughout his starting positions in the early parts of the heats, but he survived it. P7 on the grid for the Host CD Tony Kart, right in the middle of the pack as the engines have been given the command to fire. There's a look at one of the highest starting rookies, Jackson Wolney on the SCR Red Speed. You heard from his mechanic, Richie Warren, saying just a gear change, one little adjustment, and we're going to let this kid try and get himself the biggest payday he's ever seen, $5,000, and one driver after just 15 laps is going to get that massive check. Caleb Bieska will be joining us into the booth here for this final run through the races. We're so excited to bring it. Peyton, we've seen the lineup. We know where most are going to start, and the last few will get into their boxes here shortly. Do you have a pick for us already?
No matter what I can say, we don't know what's going to happen this race. You know, we can look at the pace all we want, but this is going to be a proper dogfight. So unfortunately, I don't have a pick. I just hope that we're in for a very, very entertaining race, and it should be. You see the front two, we know that they're teammates and all that, but there's $5K on the line. Surely they're not going to play the team game this early.
No way, especially you get down to the end, right? Some of the best racing drivers, Tony Stewart was famously quoted for saying, I'd wreck my mom to win a race. Well, I know my parents are watching, so if I say that right now, I'm definitely the bad guy. But Mom, I'm sorry, you're getting the bump and run for $5,000 if that's on the line here for this X30 Pro Shootout. Regardless, we've got the first 4 rows. Let's take it to the rest of them. We talked about Jackson Molney rolling off from the outside of row 4. This one shows him back on row number 5. I don't know if that would have meant Carter McMurray's going to the tail of the field, but Jacob Kolar, Nick Eggleston, Santi Fernandez on the fan vote. Weinberg, Holtz, and Carr are the provisional lineup of how they should stack up for this feature event. But we do not see, unfortunately, the Timmy Tech comp cart of Carter McMurray. I'd have to imagine that knowing that their odds maybe didn't look so good, and they did get involved in a crash there in that second heat race, that they might have decided to take their losses, lick their wounds, and come back to fight another day tomorrow for the big trophy, the main event on Sunday afternoon. So it's a Rollison Performance Group front row. Hayden Jones has had a phenomenal weekend to this point here, Caleb. He's qualified on the pole. He's won heat races. He's getting ready to lead us to green here as they round the final turn.
Yeah, Hayden Jones has been really quick all weekend long, so he's one of the favorites coming in here, but his teammate starting alongside him. We'll see what Ryan Norberg can do starting around the outside, but Xander, I'll give you the honors here. Into the tram lines we go.
15 laps, $5,000. The MG Tires X30 Shootout is green down to turn 1, and the inside lane have gotten a good start, but they are 3 wide, and Justin Adaconis is in the middle as Dalton Haynes goes into the grass. Backwards instantly for the SLA kart racing driver. Norberg into second, and he signaled back to Paulie Massimino saying, look, man, we cannot afford to white line like what we did in that last heat race, or Hayden Jones is going to drive away and get himself another checkered flag on the weekend. Here comes the field into the infield hairpin for the first time. 1 lap complete at the line. Terlecki going into 4th there with a big send on Justin Adaconis. So a big change in the top 5. Let's take a look at the order and the movers and shakers at the end of this opening lap. It's Jones and Norberg swapping around. Massimino hanging on okay. Dalton Haynes down 5 spots by the time he crossed the timing loop as Adaconis covers off the inside into turn number 4. Peyton, we have spread this field out right off the bat, and the top 3 have some breathing room. I don't think we'll be low lining just yet.
Yeah, not just yet right now. It's all go forward for Hayden Jones, see if he can pull a gap, but it is a very, very big name behind him in Ryan Norberg. But if there's anyone who can pull a gap here, it's Hayden Jones. He grew up racing at this track his whole entire life. He knows his layout more than anyone. But let's see. Weinberg still in the back, but Brandon Kart does seem to be going a bit faster than the previous 2 heats, so maybe they found something back at TKG. Not a good start for Justin Anaconis, unfortunately. You know, from third, he's a long way off the lead. He needs something to happen now. It's no longer in his hands. It's not a good way the race has turned out so far for him, but it does look like Norberg is closing in quite hard, actually, on Jones. We'll see as the gap comes this time round.
2/10 better for Ryan Norberg last time by. Justin Anaconis able to get back around on Nick Terlecki for that 4th position there in the infield, so he can start marching forward. But like you said, Peyton, he's already 2 seconds back, and we know there's teammates out front, so if Ryan Norberg pushes Hayden Jones away, it's going to be very difficult for Paulie to get there the way this is shaken out. But Hayden Jones and Ryan Norberg, they have been 1-2, but more times than not, Norberg as the 1 and Jones as the 2. It's how they ended the SCUSA Pro Tour this year, with Ryan as the champ and Jones just 16 points shy of his first ever Pro National title. He would love to be the 4th different winner over the 4 editions of this event. He's got one of the best in the business, like you said, bearing down, and Ryan wants the lead. He nearly gets into the side of him there in turn number 4, Caleb.
That was really close there in between Ryan Norberg and Hayden Jones, and I was expecting Ryan to try and go by, but yeah, you're going to know a guy like Ryan's going to want to control this race all the way to the white flag, but that got a little bit too close for comfort there, and if you're Mike Rawls and looking on as your drivers continue to fight, you're definitely scratching your head just a little bit as Mossman drops the tire, and for Paulie Massimino, that move there for Ryan, that's definitely bringing him back into play here, Xander.
That bought him nearly 0.3 of a second, Peyton. He was 1.2 back, now down to 8 back, 9 back, and Norberg this time through in turn number 4. Jones checked over his shoulder twice, Peyton. He was trying to manage the gap. At this point, if you're Hayden Jones, you know Ryan just tracked you down. How hard do you fight him, or do you really give him a shot to keep it just a 2-car fight, but maybe run that risk of him driving away?
Yeah, Ryan looks incredibly fast right now. If I'm Jones, I think I'm going to have to fight this one, because you can already see the gap starting to open up. It's already 2/10 basically as we come over the line. Norberg is absolutely flying here. He wanted to go to the lead, and he's showing why he needs it right now, because he is flying right now in that RPG Cosmic.
Now, I will say, granted, Ryan Norberg had to make a pass last lap, but Paulie Massimino was still 2/10 better, and he's now in the draft. He's won on this layout before. He's now already a shootout winner once on the weekend. It would be $9 grand before he even puts the Kart down on the grid for the main events tomorrow. No one has swept the shootouts in the history of the 3 years this event has been running. Paulie Massimino, once again, fastest car on the circuit. He'll match Norberg that time and go a little better than Hayden Jones, but that may be a bit of a false positive, getting a bit of the toe off of Jones, and Ryan is punching his own hole in the air. But we've still got time, halfway in, halfway home on this 15-lap main event, with Justin Anaconis riding in the wake back there in 4th, praying on something to happen here at the front of the field.
Yeah, that's exactly what Justin Anaconis is going to need at this point, and by the looks of it at the moment, it's the 2 RPGs against the 2 BJR MDR LN karts for Paulie Massimino, definitely closing down his gap on Hayden Jones. That gap closes in just that little bit, but when those 2 drivers start to fight already, when we cross the stripe, going to be 10 laps down and 5 more to go. And if you're Paulie, you're going to have to go on Hayden Jones and not let Ryan get away to the end of this race, Xander.
Yeah, but you've got to manage it right. You don't want Hayden to fight you so hard for that 2nd spot that there's no chance of catching Ryan. I mean, Hayden Jones was slow to get going, but he has started to reel Ryan back in. And I will say, for Hayden Jones, starting on the pole, I would not have been surprised to see him go a little lower on air pressure, Peyton. He didn't have that rush to march through the field. If he could just hang on in those opening few laps, whereas Ryan and some of the other drivers further back may have gone a little higher on air, even just a little bit, to peak early, get to the lead, and then hope that they could stay there. So, I don't know. It looks like the 316's kind of making a bit of a comeback charge here towards the second half of this main.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You can see that it must have been the tire pressure, because he's starting to come back here, and he's bringing Massimino along with him. So I think we're in for a good fight. As you can see him absolutely launch over the curb, and it didn't gain him any time doing that one, but he only lost not even half a tenth, less than half a tenth, actually.
Yeah,
so
1/100th there, so it was barely anything. All of them hitting their peak lap times, and maybe that was the loss. It looked like up until that point, he was gaining about a half car length on Flying Ryan. Check this out further back. Nick Terlecki, Dalton Haynes going at it. This is back for the final spot in the top 5, and oh man, Jacob Kolar. I don't know if he had a bit of a chrome horn moment there to Frankie Mossman, but he just got by both of them. This pack here, they are well out of the fight at this point. They are 5 seconds back from the leaders right now with 4 laps to go, Caleb. There's not any money on the line here. There's just a bit of ego, and I think this is where some of those grudges might get settled from the heats earlier today. Kolar down the inside on Terlecki with Mossman through because it doesn't pay beyond third. You're banking on a lot of penalties or DQs to, get some spots more here. You got to be smart at this point in the race.
Yeah, look, this is car racing, man. Anything can happen. I mean, the craziest thing I've seen was last week at TSRS, the top 6 drivers crashed out, and the driver in 7th was able to get the win in the end. And then here, anything can happen. Your top 4, if they all have DNFs, the guy who's leading this group, which is Jacob Kolar, can be well within a shot. But Ryan Norberg and Hayden Jones, you're not going to expect to see either of those 2 drivers make mistakes as Mossman goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Kolar looking to defend everybody around the outside. Mossman and Terlecki all going side by side here.
Dalton Haynes now getting through, and you would think this fight was for the win. It is not. This is back for position number 5. Kolar now with Haynes into 6th, Mossman into 7th. All white lining it down into the hairpin. Terlecki back there, his teammate into the side of him. Fernandez into the back. And as they hit the line, 2 laps to go. Ryan Norberg trying to close this one out. He's gotten himself back up to a half-tenth improvement over Hayden Jones. 4/10 out in front for the 348. Paulie Massimino back in third, 8/10 away right now. While this group still fighting, still battling through further back. But the first couple have finally gotten some breathing room. Kolar, Haynes, Mossman, and even Nick Eggleston, one of the promoters' picks, getting in on the last bit of the entry list. Doing good there on that Ruthless Karting X-Spree. He's gotten himself up into a good position. White flag in the air. Ryan Norberg out in front by 3.5 of a second, Caleb. It looks good as he heads to turn number 5.
This is exactly what Ryan Norberg does year in, year out. It was a hiatus last year, but he's back in full force this year, running up the last couple of corners.
Into the final turn, he's frantically checking over the shoulder. He knows how close it is. Paulie tried to send it for second, but it's Ryan Norberg victorious in the X30 Shootout. The first 2-time winner and $5,000 richer for the number 348. Hayden Jones second, and man, does that feel good, and at the same time, probably just a bit bittersweet for the 316. Bridesmaid once again, Peyton. He was so good, so fast there at the end, and for a moment, he was tracking down his teammate in the 348, just came up to a couple tenths shy.
It's just what we're used to out of Ryan Norberg. He can always find the time when he needs to. There's only been a couple people that we've ever had come over here and actually given him a hard time. So, it's another fantastic night for the RPG guys. They get another one too. Good job by both the Mike Doty guys, especially for Paulie. He's been flying this whole entire weekend, and just to come up a bit short is really unlucky for him.
Either way, it's still in the money right now for the 308 as they'll head to the weigh scales and the tech room. Ryan Norberg, Hayden Jones, Paulie Massimino, $5,000 to Ryan, $2,000 to Hayden Jones, and I believe another $1,000 down to P3 for Paulie Massimino. I want to make sure I can confirm that, and indeed, $5,000 to Ryan, $2,000 to Hayden Jones, and $1,000 to Paulie at the end of the podium. Justin Ataconis for the second year in a row finds himself in the top 5 in the shootout. Very impressive for a driver that only does this once a year now with his busy college schedule, his car racing schedule, to hop back in at a track that's been good to him. He will be a factor on Sunday. Jacob Kolar as well, a father-son, small team operation with some satellite support from Speed Concepts Racing. The Vice Racing Group ends up with the top 5 over Haynes, Mossman, Eggleston, Terlecki, and Cameron Weinberg. But let's go in to the scale house. Ryan Norberg's going to look, make sure that number's good, and it's official. Caleb's going to have to get over the breakup here pretty quickly, Peyton, and get a word in. There's a big congrats from Paulie Massimino's dad, Paul, as well, to say well done. A clean, hard-fought race there and close, but that was just a matter of minimizing the mistakes. And I think the biggest thing that we have seen over the course of this year is how good that guy is on low air and cold tires in the opening couple of laps. and he just was able to do it again, this time getting a payday of $5,000. So he's working his way through the last bit of the cheers. There's his girlfriend Shelby as well, congratulating him. It's a hot night here, a summer night. His mom as well. There's Hayden Jones's father, Corbett, giving a big kudos, and here he is, your $5,000 richer X30 Shootout main event winner, a two-timer out there in the shootouts, and the first two-timer in the same division. Caleb?
Yeah, Ryan, I know we had just broken up a couple of moments ago, but you did it, man. $5,000 into the bank. How does that feel?
Feels great, man. I mean, it's a long night, you know. It's definitely been a long week, and you know, like I said, you've just got to keep learning in these heat races, and that's what we kept doing. You know, we just kept trying to put the best setup, and we were able to really get the thing dialed in. And I think, you know, now we have a pretty strong kart for tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, you and Hayden were up there pretty quick, and I know it took you a while to kind of get around them. Just walk me through that when you found yourself right behind Hayden.
Well, it's obviously better to have a teammate behind you than somebody else. So, you know, the biggest thing is I knew Hayden and I were and if I got out to the lead, you know, I wanted to make sure that Hayden would stay there and that we could either, like, push together. When I got into the lead, I pointed back, like, hey, man, look at the gap we got. You know, let's try and work together here. And, yeah, we were able to just kind of hold that. And, yeah, I mean, we strong kart this week. I mean, both of us were really fast in that all through this. So, yeah, really proud of the team.
And, I mean, I really got to say here, the only session that you didn't talk to me before, you went out there and won there. But it looks like we're back together now, isn't that right?
Yeah, I think there's a day period, so tomorrow just don't come up to me before the final.
There you guys have from Ryan, and I know there's a big support section here for you. Who would you like to thank for this race victory?
Yeah, obviously I want to thank the team. I mean, these guys work, like, I mean, it's 10 o'clock. I mean, these guys work late. You know, Mike Allison for putting this all together, Joni, Alex, everybody Kevin, everybody that works for me, and then my family that's here to support us, my girlfriend's family, Lord, and just everybody. It's been awesome to have them here for this.
Well, there you go. Congratulations, Ryan. And wait for tomorrow until we again and we get back on speaking terms. There you guys have it from Ryan Norberg, and we're going to talk to your teammate again here, Hayden Jones. You were leading there early on in that race, but Ryan just got the better of you there. What do you feel like you missed there?
I don't really think we were missing on speed-wise. I think he committed to the pass. I chopped him one time, and then he was going to get it the next time no matter what I did, so I let him by, tried to follow him. He pulled a little bit of a gap, and at that point, like, you just can't close on him. He's so consistent. He never made a mistake and just put the laps together that he needed to. I closed a little bit there in the end, and then I saw the 2 to go, so I pushed as hard as I could. I made a little mistake, and I knew that was it.
As well, I mean, it was a pretty good showing for you, nonetheless, getting, I guess, 2 back-to-back shootouts, and you were in contention for both. I know there's a big support section for you here this weekend as well. Who'd you like to thank for this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to thank my whole family that came out today, both my sisters. My other sister's probably watching at school right now. Our dog, Callie, my parents, my grandparents, the whole team. Mike Rawlison puts on a great show, you know. I can't do it without him, Joni, Alex, you know. The kart's just perfect. Like, we went up, we made a couple changes, got faster and faster. In that final, I think we were purple. So it just shows to you how, like, we can build and just be the fastest that we can be.
There you guys have it from Hayden Jones. Very, you know, in good spirits going into tomorrow. So back tomorrow.
Thank you.
There you guys have it from Hayden Jones. And I'm going to switch mics here real quick. Check, 1, 2. All right, Paulie, I know it was a very hard-fought session for you nonetheless. You could have gone back-to-back, but P3 is all that you guys had in it tonight. What do you feel like you missed in that main event?
I don't know. I don't really know if we really missed on anything. They might have been geared a little bit different. Maybe I could have used a tiny bit more front, but it's just so hard, like, when you get to this and everybody's so equally matched. I mean, I feel like we were kind of just picking off equal times. Didn't really feel like I can gain, but I wasn't losing, and I was just hoping, you know, maybe they would battle a little bit, but I kind of figured they wouldn't, which smart on them, take a 1-2, but I was hoping for one pass to just try and get me in there a little bit, but can't complain. Still a good run, I thought, to be able to stay up there and trying to match my pace with them. I definitely had to burn my stuff off a little bit to try and keep up with them, but yeah, take a P3.
Yeah, no, so P3 on the night, and I know there's tomorrow's the big picture, you know, a lot of money on the line as well. Tomorrow, another $5,000 in that main event. You feel like you got a good piece for tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got a really great piece in both classes. Today we were ripping in KA throughout those heats, and I think on the normal layout we're pretty strong too. So we'll go out for warm-up. Same thing with X30. I think we're strong. We missed a little bit in that third heat, but doesn't matter now anyways because we're back to the normal layout. So, yeah, I think we got a good shot. Just keep our heads down and try to get some more money.
All right, well, there you guys have Paulie Massimino, one of the BJR MDR drivers. Good luck tomorrow, Paulie.
Thank you.
And lastly here with another one of the BJR MDR drivers, Justin Ataconis. Seemed like you got there to the P4 spot just a little too late. Walk me through that race.
Yeah, you know, just had an incident at the start, just getting pushed and just full lock, trying to get through turn one. But it just, unfortunately, I think we were a little bit too low on tire pressure too. We just didn't really have enough for him. But I think pace towards the end was pretty good, so I'm pretty happy with how it went. And just sucks to be one spot short of the podium.
Yeah, for sure. Just one spot short of the money as well. But tomorrow, again, big picture. That's the main event for all of you guys coming up. And I know you struggled a little bit as well on the Friday afternoon in that heat race. You feel like you got a good piece for tomorrow?
I think we got a good piece. I just got to stay out of the incidents. You know, we've been involved in incidents in all 3 heat races this weekend. So just got to stay out of incidents, and I think we'll be right there.
Sounds good. Well, best luck tomorrow, Justin.
Thank you.
Well, that was all of your top 4 drivers here in the X30 Pro Shootout. It's been a long night, but we'll end it off with you guys back up in the booth.
Thank you, Caleb. Peyton Phillips again. Peyton, thanks on joining me here in the booth, getting to watch and call Heat 2 and that main event in the shootout. Like you said, that was a typical Ryan Norberg race there. Slowly pick them apart and just not make any mistakes. I mean, on a layout like that, and even as well, the regular layout tomorrow, what can the viewers expect from tomorrow's action as a guy who's in the fight?
I think all the finals tomorrow are going to be fun. You can watch all the minis, all the micros. They've been giving really hard races all weekend, and I know the seniors are going to be fun to watch, especially the X30. It's been crazy in all the heats, and maybe in the K we can have some fun as well.
We watched one heck of a pack race in the KA main event last year. It'll be an awesome class to watch, and we've got the full round of super heats in the morning. We've got, of course, main events in the afternoon. We kick everything off with morning warm-ups with the sun shining a little bit earlier at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. It has been another awesome day of action from the IAME USA Grand National Championship. A little bit of chaos, a little bit of hard racing on some alternate layouts, and more than anything else, some big-time moments that have set the stage for the final day of action here tomorrow afternoon with the crowning of our 2024 IAME Grand National Champion. For Peyton Phillips, Caleb Vieska, our entire Kart Chaser team, and all of us at Trackhouse Motorplex and IAME USA East, thanks for watching tonight's X30 Shootout showing. We'll see you at 10 in the morning tomorrow.